Chapter 1644. This isn't an illusion. The nightmare snake Maples shook her head and said. Mammoth Many Voids and the others had very serious expressions on their faces. If even Master of Illusion Maples had said such a thing, then it meant that it wasn't an illusion but rather, the truth. 5 almighty transcendence experts had really been killed by a late Golden Core Stage Junior. They were all shocked. No matter how weak the 5 transcendence experts were, their strength wasn't something Golden Core Enlightened Masters could compare to. They could kill countless Golden Core Enlightened Masters with a single breath. But now transcendence experts had been killed. This was simply unimaginable. It's not that the 5 were too weak but that treasure's power. It seems to have the power of a domain that can lower our cultivation to the same level as the opponent. Phoenix Ruth was very knowledgeable. Having lived for hundreds of thousands of years, she could immediately tell that the dragon trapping pillar possessed divine abilities. Impossible. A treasure with a domain has to be at least a saint artifact. Many of the experts were shocked. No, it's not a saint artifact yet. If it were, it could even affect us tribulation lightnings. But it's not far from a saint artifact. It should be a peerless spirit artifact, half a step away from being a saint artifact. Undying Bird Lucy said in a deep voice. She stared at Xia Ping with fear in her heart. Even though he was only a perfected one at the Golden Core realm, his mysterious identity and endless means and Dharma treasures made her fear of Wu Wuti rise to an unprecedented level. He was even more dangerous than ordinary Thunder Tribulation eminences. Not to mention she had never been so weak before. Wu Wuti, what are you trying to do? Mammoth Many Voids stared at Xia Ping wanting to know his goal. The experts calmed down. Since they couldn't kill this enemy immediately, they could only negotiate with him in hopes of understanding his goal. They also hoped to buy time and recover some of their magic power. That way they could kill Wu Wuti. If they could delay until the sages arrived, the kid would have nowhere to run. Secret, Xia Ping said indifferently. I'll warn you again. If any of you dare to move, you'll die. The moment these words were spoken, many mighty figures were instantly enraged. A mere perfected person in the Golden Core realm actually dared to say such words to them. He was truly arrogant and despotic to the extreme. He did not know his own capabilities. However, after seeing the deaths of the few Dharma characteristic realm experts and their unprecedented state of weakness, they were powerless even if they wanted to retaliate. All of them stood where they were, fearless, afraid that the other party would really make a move and kill them. Even Mammoth Many Voids and the Undying Bird were rooted to the spot, unmoving. Clearly they were afraid of Xia Ping and had no idea what he was up to. To be honest, Xia Ping's move had indeed frightened them. When faced with an enemy of unknown identity and strength, they preferred to deal with the ever-changing situation by remaining unchanged. Seeing that the experts were frightened, Xia Ping smiled. His figure flickered and he appeared in front of the weakened corpse beast. Roar. The zombie beast let out a low roar, but it could sense the familiar Taotai aura on Xia Ping's body, as if they were of the same bloodline, and there was a natural sense of familiarity. Furthermore, it could tell that Yang Kai was the good person who had freed it from the seal. Given its low intelligence, it was possible that Yang Kai had no ill intentions toward it. Therefore, when it sensed Xia Ping approaching, it didn't do anything drastic. It simply stared at Xia Ping, curious as to what he was planning. How is this possible? The corpse beast didn't kill him? However, the corpse beast's indifferent reaction was shocking to Mammoth Many Voids and the other almighty experts. They knew how terrifying corpse beasts were. They had no intelligence and were the embodiment of slaughter and destruction. Any living thing that got close to them would either be eaten or infected, turning into their dependents. But what was going on here? Why hadn't the corpse beast eaten him? In fact, he seemed very close to it. It was completely unimaginable. Mammoth Many Voids and the other almighty experts realized that the situation was far more serious than they had imagined. They immediately raised the level of danger that Xia Ping posed to them, and realized that the kid's identity was even more mysterious than before. Become my pet. Xia Ping reached out and tapped the corpse beast's forehead with a finger. Immediately he unleashed the soul imprint, a soul imprint that looked like a huge golden seal engraved with countless mysterious soul runes. It emitted a gentle golden light that warmed people's hearts like the sun. Whoosh. Before the corpse beast could even react, the soul sealing mark sank into its soul. Roar. The corpse beast was both shocked and enraged. It instinctively sensed that if the soul sealing mark sank into its soul, its life would be in Yang Kai's hands. Unfortunately, it was too weak. After the battle it had just fought, its soul was as fragile as a candle, on the verge of going out at any moment. Therefore it was impossible for it to resist the power of the soul-sealing mark. Rumble. In the next second, the soul imprint completely fused into the corpse beast's soul, and the soul imprint immediately turned into a spirit tree. Countless roots and branches grew out, taking root in the depths of the corpse beast's soul, controlling everything. It's done. Xia Ping smiled faintly. He could sense that the soul-sealing mark had already merged into the corpse beast's soul, and that he could control its life or death with a single thought. The berserk, greedy, murderous, and other crazy emotions of the zombie beasts seemed to have been completely swallowed by the tree of souls created by the soul seal. Moments later, the corpse beast's body underwent heaven-shaking, earth-toppling transformations. Black mist seethed as it shrank down, transforming into a black egg roughly the size of an ostrich egg, which hovered there in midair, radiating black light. Hold on a second. What did you do to the corpse beast? Mammoth Many Voids and the other almighty experts were completely flabbergasted. They had never even heard of a corpse beast transforming into an egg before. It was completely unimaginable that someone could actually subjugate a corpse beast and turn it into an egg. They were all shocked and immediately thought of this point. If there was someone who could control the corpse beasts, then how terrifying the destruction would be, and to what extent would the situation develop? Ladies and gentlemen, my business here is finished. I hope we'll meet again if fate wills it. Xia Ping made a grabbing motion with his hand and put away the giant black egg. At the same time, he took out the dragonwood talisman and circulated his arcane energy. Immediately, his body was surrounded by a bright light and he was teleported out of the dragonwood secret realm. Hold on a second. Stay here. Chapter 1645. Dragonwood Planet. Rumble. 3 terrifying auras descended upon the planet as if they were gods. They seemed to have formed an absolute domain around them, preventing any power from entering their vicinity. Even a wisp of their auras could crush a planet. These were 3 sages. They were Archangel Raphael of the Angel Folk, Venerable Stainless, the Golden Arhat of Buddhism, and the demonic sage Bifeng. Sages. Undying Bird, Mammoth Many Voids, and the other almighty experts emerged from the Dragonwood Pocket Realm and approached the 3 sages, their attitudes extremely respectful. What's going on? Didn't they say the seal on the corpse beast was lifted? Why can't I sense its aura? Did you seal it away? Archangel Raphael asked. Venerable Stainless and the Bifeng looked down at the corpse beast, confused as well. After all, the only reason they'd come out of seclusion was to seal the corpse beast. But now, not even its aura could be sensed. It was very strange. Sages, it's like this. The corpse beast has already been stolen. Mammoth Many Voids told them everything he knew. There's actually someone who stole the zombie beast and even enslaved it? How is that possible? The Bifeng sage was shocked. They'd tried to control the corpse beast, but they'd realized it was impossible. Even the dragonfolk scientist Titania couldn't do it, so there was nothing they could do. But now, a mysterious figure had managed to do it. Even the sages were shocked. We saw it with our own eyes and we're not exaggerating. Mammoth Many Voids and the other almighty experts swore to the heavens that they weren't lying. It seems the universe is vast and full of wonders. It's not surprising that someone has a way to control the corpse beast, Venerable Stainless said coolly. His voice contained a hint of zen, as if listening to him for a long time would make one feel like they were about to convert to the Buddhist path. It wasn't intentional but rather unintentional power that could change a living being's consciousness. The almighty experts were shocked, and quickly circulated their magic to seal off their minds. If they didn't, they'd soon become puppets of the Buddhist path, forever converted. I hope the sages can capture that little thief Wu Wudi, Mammoth Many Voids said. He just escaped Dragonwood. There's still hope of capturing him. Okay, I'll give it a try. Upon hearing this, Venerable Unsullied nodded. His body emitted boundless golden light that pierced through the void. Vaguely, Sanskrit sounds rang out from the depths of the void, resonating with the universe. With his body as the center, everything within a radius of hundreds of thousands of light-years was within his range of influence. It was as if every inch of the void was producing strange fluctuations. This won't do. That person has already disappeared. He ran extremely quickly and left this star domain. Venerable Stainless opened his eyes, revealing a glimmer of insight as he said, "He has a supreme treasure on him. His speed is extremely fast and we can't even catch a trace of him." Yeah, me too. I can't figure out his background or any clues. He has a mysterious power protecting him. If he doesn't have a supreme treasure to protect him, then he must have a powerful figure protecting him. Archangel Raphael also spoke. He had tried to divine Xiaoping's whereabouts, but he couldn't find anything. It was as if the place he came to was isolated, and there was nothing in the distance. What? Mammoth Many Voids and the other almighty figures were incomparably shocked. Even a saint couldn't find Wu Wudi's whereabouts? They couldn't even find a trace of him. This was a little too terrifying. However, they couldn't possibly know that Xiaoping had a saint-grade flying ship on him. As soon as he left Dragonwood Star, he immediately broke through space and fled, not giving them a chance to find him. As such, it was impossible for them to catch Xiaoping. Even you two can't find a trace of him? It seems that he must have a saint supporting him. Perhaps it's Yao Sage Titania of the dragon race. The Yao Sage by Feng radiated a terrifying aura of violence. If it's Titania's doing, then it wouldn't be surprising at all. After so many years of research, she might really have found a way to control the corpse beasts. Venerable Unsullied nodded. He felt that this was the most likely possibility. If it was Titania's plan, then taming the corpse beasts wouldn't be a problem. After all, the corpse beasts were created by Titania. It was only natural that she could tame and enslave them. If that Wu Wudi is one of Titania's subordinates, then we can't let him go. Otherwise he'll become a huge threat to us. Archangel Raphael's eyes shone with a white light. Furthermore, he's enslaved the corpse beasts. If he's given more time to grow, who knows how terrifying the corpse beasts will become. It'll be a catastrophe for the universe. Even saints were afraid of the undying and indestructible corpse beasts. This was because the power of the corpse beasts was too terrifying. From a certain perspective, the corpse beasts were many times more terrifying than those abyssal monsters. At the very least, abyssal monsters weren't contagious. They couldn't forcibly turn all living beings in the universe into their dependents. He felt a deep desire to kill Wu Wudi. Mammoth Many Voids, immediately notify the various races of the Western universe, the Yao Sage by Feng said coldly. Immediately issue a warrant for Wu Wudi, dead or alive. His bounty is 10 billion cosmic dollars. If you provide any useful information, you'll be rewarded with 100 million cosmic dollars. Archangel Raphael and Venerable Unsullied both nodded. They had to do their best to make sure that Wu Wudi had no place to hide in the universe. He was a huge threat and they couldn't let him grow any further. 10 billion cosmic dollars? Hearing this, Mammoth Many Voids and the other powerhouses were speechless. This was a terrifying bounty. He was just a golden core perfected one, yet his bounty was 10 billion cosmic dollars. Such a bounty was one of the highest even among the Western universe's most wanted criminals. However, these criminals were basically all Tribulation Thunder powerhouses. They'd slaughtered the living beings of dozens of planets and committed heinous crimes. That was why there was such a bounty. But now the bounty had already reached 10 billion cosmic dollars. This was too ridiculous. However, they also understood why there was such a bounty. The corpse beasts were simply too terrifying. When they grew up, they could destroy the world. A mere 10 billion cosmic dollars was still underestimating the threat. However, the matter of the corpse beasts escaping was top secret. They couldn't let ordinary people know or it would cause great panic. Yes. Mammoth Many Voids and the other powerhouses immediately accepted the order. They quickly spread the news so that all the major races of the Western universe knew about it. They helped to issue a warrant for the most vicious criminal in history, Wu Wudi. Chapter 1646. Under the full push of the various races of the Western universe, through the Universe Virtual Network, the news of the wanted criminal Wu Wudi spread throughout the Western universe in just a day. It was posted to every user with a virtual network device in the form of a pop-up window, forcing them to know about the news. Even the television stations of every habitable planet in the Western universe took turns to broadcast the news. The host even spent 30 minutes spreading the news, telling the public to be wary of the most wanted criminal in history, Wu Wudi, and to inform the police immediately if they encountered him. The police hotline number was XXXXX. Many similar news headlines appeared on the internet. Alert, the most wanted criminal in history has appeared. 10 billion universe dollars bounty, a jaw-dropping amount. One can become a billionaire by catching this criminal? The fastest way to get rich. The most wanted criminal Wu Wudi. What kind of heinous crime has he committed? Sensational news headlines appeared one after another, and countless people spread the news. Suddenly, the geniuses of the major races of the Western universe were in an uproar. This is ridiculous. A golden core perfected one has a bounty of 10 billion universe dollars. What did Wu Wudi do? Some people were dumbfounded when they saw the news. They did not understand what kind of person Wu Wudi was. I heard that he once appeared in the Dragonwood secret realm and killed countless geniuses. As a result, many elders were enraged and they swore to capture Wu Wuti. No, I heard that he stole a treasure that even sages coveted. That's why all the major races of the Western universe joined forces to capture him. Wrong, you're all wrong. I don't know where you got this despicable news from. I heard that Wu Wuti is a rapist who has taken the virginity of countless beauties. Even the princesses of the antelope race, elephant race, vermilion bird race, white tiger race, and other races have been violated by him. That's why all the races are enraged. You must be joking. Where did this rumor come from? Is it reliable or not? Of course it's reliable. Because it's so embarrassing they're too embarrassed to say it. Otherwise they'll lose all face. I heard that a few princesses are pregnant. Fuck that beast. Looks like Wu Wuti isn't just a vicious criminal, he's also a shameless rapist. Everyone has the right to punish him. Everyone discussed this and many rumors appeared. They speculated about the crimes that Wu Wuti, who was wanted, had committed. Because the Almighties did not announce the reason for Wu Wuti's arrest warrant, there were also many ridiculous rumors. But that was what they were happy to see. They wanted to attract everyone's attention and motivate them to capture Wu Wuti, making him the enemy of the entire nation. Once they revealed any clues, they would be discovered immediately and arrested in an instant. But this bounty is too frightening. Even a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert wouldn't be worth this much. If I can capture Wu Wuti, I'll immediately become a billionaire. Someone said excitedly, imagining that they had already captured Wu Wuti. Isn't that right? That Wu Wuti is at most in the Golden Core realm. Although his strength is not bad, there are many people who surpass him. If we are careful, we can still capture him. Someone thought about the feasibility of this matter. That's wishful thinking. Who knows how many mercenaries and factions want to capture Wu Wuti now? How can it be your turn? That's right. Even for some of the major factions, $10 billion is a shocking amount. Once we get it, we won't have to worry about cultivation resources for many years. Capturing Wu Wuti is equivalent to getting rich overnight. It's better than winning the lottery. Countless people were excited. They rubbed their palms together, hoping that they would have the chance to meet Wu Wuti and personally capture him. Then, the $10 billion would belong to them. However, some people were very cautious. After all, this bounty was not set casually. Since the Almighties dared to set such a price, it meant that the person was dangerous enough to reach $10 billion. If they acted rashly, they would definitely be destroyed. The people from the Eastern Universe and the Southern Universe also learned of this news. They were all shocked because the name Wu Wuti was too familiar to them. It was like thunder piercing through their ears. Fuck, that Wu Wuti has brought disaster to the Western Universe again. His business scope is very wide. He also offended many Almighties and has a bounty of 10 billion. What did he do? However, that Wu Wuti seems to be different from the Wu Wuti that appeared in our Southern Universe and Northern Universe. That guy is a bald donkey. That's right. Maybe it's just the same name and not the same person. There are many people with the same name in the universe. I dare say that it must be the same person. There can't be a second person in the universe who is so suicidal. That's right. My sixth sense tells me that too. After all, one's appearance can be completely changed. If that Wu Wuti is proficient in transformation techniques, it wouldn't be surprising if he turned himself into a bald donkey. Even if you say so much, it's just speculation. There's no real evidence. It'd be great if someone could catch that kid. Then we'd know his identity. There are many people who want to capture him. The Eastern Universe, the Southern Universe, and now the Western Universe. Fuck, he's only missing the Northern Universe. He's wanted in the entire universe. According to that bastard's character, it's only a matter of time. Countless people from the Eastern and Southern Universe were discussing this. They did not expect that Wu Wuti's name would appear in their field of vision again in such a short period of time. Furthermore, he had caused trouble for the Western Universe. Meanwhile, in another part of the universe, a spacecraft was traveling through the universe. It was the Myriad Star. At that moment, Xia Ping, Tu Linglong and Green Yuan had already left Dragonwood Planet and even the Western Universe. They were completely far away from danger and were on the spacecraft. However, they soon learned that Wu Wuti was being hunted down. After all, this news was for the public. Haha, congratulations, human. You're finally wanted. There's a bounty of 10 billion. Tu Linglong looked at Xia Ping with schadenfreude. Green Yuan was also speechless. She had already expected this to happen. She had set up a trap and caused the deaths of so many Almighties and a large group of Western Universe elders. How could she get away scot-free? If he was not wanted, she would find it strange. The group of Almighties would probably want to capture Xiaoping and tear him to pieces. Chapter 1647. Hearing Tu Linglong's words, Xiaoping was not angry. Instead, he looked happy. He knew that many powerful figures in the Western universe had put him on the wanted list, so he could imagine how much they hated him. Now that he had offended so many people, he must have earned an astronomical number of hatred points. This was a big gain for him, so how could he not be happy? Who's complimenting you? Tu Linglong looked at Xiaoping grumpily. She had never seen such a thick-skinned man. He was obviously a wanted criminal, but he still looked so smug. However, she had to admire him. With the strength of a golden core perfected cultivator, he had put a group of powerful figures in such a predicament, causing countless casualties and getting the most benefits. This was not something that could be explained by luck. What? Are you saying that I'm handsome and you want to be my wife? Xiaoping blinked his eyes. Seeing this bastard playing dumb, Tu Linglong gritted her teeth. She wanted to punch him. Time's up. Just then Blue Luan suddenly said. What time's up? Xiaoping turned around and looked at Blue Luan curiously. Blue Luan explained, this time we came to the Dragonwood secret realm to complete a trial task and obtain the Dragonwood source. Now that we have obtained these treasures, the task is over and we have to go back. After these days of getting along, Xiaoping also knew that Tu Linglong and Blue Luan had obtained the inheritance of the Monster Temple and often participated in various trials, which was why they had improved so quickly. Then how do you go back? Xiaoping asked. We have the mark of the Monster Temple on us. As long as we use our mind, we can return to the Monster Temple. Blue Luan suddenly looked up. Time's up. The Monster Temple is calling us. Remember, you despicable human, the next time we meet, I will definitely beat you up. Tu Linglong glared at Xiaoping fiercely. Boom. As soon as she said that, a mysterious energy emerged from Tu Linglong and Blue Luan, enveloping them. Immediately, a black hole appeared in the space around them and instantly swallowed them. In the next second, the two disappeared and were teleported back to the Monster Temple. Are they gone? That's amazing. This is the power of the Monster Temple. Xiaoping was also a little surprised. He reckoned that the Demon Sacred Temple at least had the power of a sacred artifact. Only then could it summon Tu Linglong and Blue Luan from so far away. However, he was not worried that the two of them would not be able to contact each other after they left. Before this, they had exchanged their contact information. If anything happened, they could contact each other on the virtual network. No matter what, they were all from the Cloud Realm. Everyone was from the same hometown, so it was normal for them to help each other. Beep, at that moment, the system's voice sounded. Congratulations, host. You have aroused the hatred of countless mighty figures and prodigies in the Western universe. You have obtained a large number of hatred points. Currently, the hatred points have reached 15.6 billion. I hope that the host will continue to work hard. What? Xiaoping's eyes widened. Even though he knew that he had definitely gained a lot of hatred this time, he didn't expect his hatred to reach 15.6 billion. One had to know that in order to exchange for the Saint-level restriction-breaking talisman, he had spent 2 billion, which meant that he had at least gained more than 10 billion hatred points this time, which was simply a windfall. With so much hatred, he didn't know how many treasures he could exchange for. But before Xiaoping could think of what to exchange, the system's voice came out again. The host's hatred value has reached 10 billion, triggering the system upgrade function. Please wait for 3 minutes, the system is upgrading. System upgrade. There was a glimmer of light in Xiaoping's eyes. It seemed that the previous system was only in its initial state and now it could still evolve. He didn't know what the system would look like after the evolution. 3 minutes passed in a flash. Boom. Immediately, a huge stream of information poured into Xiaoping's mind like a tide. These were all information about the changes that had taken place after the system upgrade. Xiaoping suddenly discovered that there were more things to exchange than before. It seemed that there were many more types, as if it had become more complete, broader, and more powerful. Moreover, the way the hatred value was calculated had also changed. It had been replaced with hatred crystals. Now, 100 million hatred points were equivalent to 1 hatred crystal. In other words, he now had a total of 156 hatred crystals. What? A low-grade sacred artifact can be bought with 100 hatred crystals. Xiaoping's eyes widened as he found that many powerful sacred artifacts had appeared on the exchange list. The lowest grade was 100 hatred crystals, which meant that 10 billion hatred points could be exchanged. Sacred artifacts also seemed to have different grades. They were divided into low-grade, middle-grade, high-grade, and peerless sacred artifacts. Even if there was a difference of one grade, the value was several times higher. A middle-grade sacred artifact required at least 300 hatred crystals to buy, a high-grade sacred artifact required 1,000 hatred crystals, and a peerless sacred artifact required at least 3,000 hatred crystals. If I exchange for a low-grade sacred artifact now, wouldn't I be able to do whatever I want? Xia Ping was immediately tempted, but he still forcibly suppressed his urge to exchange for a sacred artifact, because good steel needed to be used on a good blade. Even if he got a low-grade sacred artifact now, it wouldn't be of much help to his cultivation. If it was a trump card, he still had many on him, enough to save his life. There was no need to waste 100 hatred crystals here to exchange for a treasure that he couldn't use for the time being. There are a lot more cultivation methods, and these are all God tier? Xia Ping also found that there were many more cultivation methods, such as the Great Emperor scripture that he had seen a long time ago, which required 100 hatred crystals, and the cultivation method was God tier. The Void scripture required 100 hatred crystals, and the cultivation method was God tier. The Starry Sky Devouring Art, grade, God tier, priced at 100 hatred crystals. He now knew the system's classification of various cultivation methods: Mortal tier, King tier, Saint tier, and God tier. I didn't expect to be able to exchange for a God tier cultivation method. That's a cultivation method that surpasses the Saint tier, but why is the price of a God tier cultivation method cheaper than a magic treasure? Xia Ping was very puzzled. The system said, the reason is very simple. Although it is a God tier cultivation method, it takes a long time for a cultivator to cultivate it, and it requires a lot of resources. Moreover, some God tier cultivation methods also require special talent. Even if ordinary people want to cultivate them, they have no way to do so. There are great restrictions. However, a sacred artifact is different. It can be used by anyone, and once obtained, it will have a strong combat power and immediate effects. Naturally, the price is high. Moreover, the system is not a shop. It doesn't need to make a profit. It is just a magic treasure to assist in cultivation. The reason why these prices are set is to urge the host to cultivate and speed up the host's growth. At this point, it paused and said, the most important thing is that the energy used to exchange hatred points for magic treasures is many times greater than the energy used to exchange for secret manuals. Naturally, the price is also much higher. Chapter 1648. System, what do you mean by this? Is hatred itself a kind of energy? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes, and he heard a lot of secrets from the system's words. Emotion itself is a kind of energy, and hatred is the most powerful kind of energy among many emotions. Although ordinary people can't perceive it and can't use it, but the super hatred system is different. The system said. Some people say that love is the greatest energy of emotions. In fact, not everyone has love, but everyone will have hatred, and it is the easiest energy to get. After all, it is difficult to make others love you, but it is easy to make others hate you. System, where did you come from and what is your purpose? Xia Ping felt that after the system upgrade, it seemed to take the initiative to reveal a lot of secrets to him, which was completely different from before. The host's authority is insufficient. The system cannot answer this question. The system replied. Insufficient authority? How do I upgrade my authority? Xia Ping asked. Try to get hatred. As long as the hatred reaches a certain level, the host will naturally upgrade his authority. The system said. Xia Ping nodded, and he also put down his inner doubts. Now his strength is still not strong enough. Even if he knows the origin of the system, what can he do with his current strength? Can this God-level cultivation technique be exchanged? Xia Ping asked. The system said, as long as the hatred is enough, it can naturally be exchanged, but the host's own pure yang immortal art is a God-level cultivation technique, and there is no need to change to other cultivation techniques. Pure yang immortal art is a God-level cultivation technique. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes, although he also knew that pure yang immortal art was very powerful. It could swallow and absorb the strange flames in the world, make it his own, and strengthen himself. It was incomparably magical, and the level of the cultivation technique must be extraordinary. But he didn't expect pure yang immortal art to be a God-level cultivation technique. However, thinking about it carefully, ordinary saint-level cultivation techniques probably can't achieve the effect of swallowing strange flames. It's not hard to imagine that pure yang immortal art is so powerful. Congratulations to the host, the hatred has reached 10 billion, the host is about to get a system gift pack, please check. At this time, the system's voice came out again. System gift pack. Xia Ping also suddenly remembered this matter. It seemed that every time the hatred absorbed reached a level, the system would give him a super gift pack, and each gift pack was extremely precious. He didn't know what the system would give him this time. Boom! Immediately, a spatial passage opened above Xia Ping's head. Then an item fell from the sky and floated in mid-air, emitting a golden light. It was incomparably sacred, noble, and ancient. A pen? Xia Ping took a closer look and saw that it was a golden brush. There were dense golden runes engraved on it. It was incomparably ancient, as if it was a magic treasure that had existed since ancient times. This golden brush merely floated in the air. The tip of the brush was sharp, but it made his heart tremble. It was as if the sharpness of the tip of the brush could tear this world apart. Some people say that swords and sabers are the sharpest weapons in the world. But he was wrong. The pen was the sharpest weapon. No matter how powerful a sword was, it was only a weapon for killing. However, the brush was different. It could alter history, change 1,000 years, reverse reincarnation, and divide yin and yang. Someone once said that the tip of a pen could kill without spilling blood. This was how terrifying the pen was. As for the golden brush, it was clearly extraordinary. There was a faint aura of a sacred artifact within it. It was vast and boundless. Dong. Xia Ping reached out to catch the golden brush. His divine awareness seeped into it and refined it in an instant. Immediately, a huge amount of information gushed out from the golden brush. He immediately knew the real name of this brush, the reincarnation pen. The reincarnation pen? Xia Ping was shocked. He immediately remembered that the King of Hell had two magic treasures, the reincarnation pen and the Book of Life and Death. With these two magic treasures, the King of Hell dominated the life and death of countless creatures and the 6 paths of reincarnation. It could be imagined how terrifying the reincarnation pen and the Book of Life and Death were. They were absolutely extraordinary magic treasures. Well, the reincarnation pen is sealed. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He sensed that this reincarnation pen didn't seem to have a device spirit. Instead, there were numerous dense and horrible restrictive formations deep inside it. He could sense 1.08 billion layers of restrictive formations. As for the deeper layers of restrictive formations, he couldn't sense them at all. This was the power of a higher dimension. Host, you're right. This reincarnation pen is sealed. More than 99% of its power is sealed, leaving only a trace of its original power. The system said, there are 5 layers of such seals and each layer is stronger than the previous one. If you want to break the seal on the reincarnation pen, you'll need more hatred. 5 layers of seals. Xia Ping was speechless. He knew that the system wouldn't be so kind as to give him a powerful magic treasure. If this was the reincarnation pen that wasn't sealed, it could probably even kill a sage. Of course, he couldn't control such a magic treasure. Even getting close to it was an extravagant hope. Even if he wanted to activate the reincarnation pen at its peak, his magic power would be instantly sucked dry, and he would become a mummy. Even so, this reincarnation pen was an extremely terrifying magic treasure even if it relied on its original sharpness. Swoosh. Xia Ping's figure flickered, and he immediately left the stars and came to the vacuum. He stepped into the void with the reincarnation pen in his hand. Majestic magic power was injected into the reincarnation pen. Immediately, the reincarnation pen's body emitted endless golden light, and golden scriptures appeared faintly. Dong. With a gentle stroke, the reincarnation pen revealed its sharpness. A terrifying golden cold light appeared and cut through the void, as if the void was being divided into 2 halves at that moment. In the distance, huge meteorites were instantly divided into 2 halves, and the cut was smooth. Bang, bang, bang. Xia Ping waved the reincarnation pen crazily, and beams of golden light shot out, forming a golden killing net. Huge meteorites in the distance were instantly cut into powder. Even a small planet was torn apart from the middle when it was hit by this move. It seemed like there was no resistance at all when it was cut. It's too sharp. Xia Ping was amazed. He felt that when he waved the reincarnation pen and activated the power of the magic treasure's sharpness, it could instantly cut through the void, the earth, and a planet in half. Such sharpness alone was enough for him to run rampant. Ordinary magic treasures would be cut into pieces in front of such sharpness, and there was no way to block it. Of course, activating the reincarnation pen also required a lot of magic power. After waving it dozens of times, he felt that the magic power deep in his purple mansion was much emptier, and there was an unprecedented feeling of weakness. Good treasure. Even so, Xia Ping was overjoyed. He felt that he had obtained a great killing weapon. Chapter 1649. W? For L? Carat? WMK? $T? $T? PS? Percent? G dash? Inside the mountain river pearl space. 5 million dragonwood trees were planted in the wilderness. These dragonwood trees were all secretly brought back by Xia Ping from the dragonwood mystery realm when the group of mighty figures were fighting the zombie beasts. How's the transplanting going? Can they survive? Xia Ping asked. Master, there's no problem at all. These dragonwood trees are extremely resilient. They can survive no matter what kind of soil they're planted in, not to mention they're planted on the nine heavens living soil. The green ox said confidently, as long as I have enough time, it won't be a problem to propagate these dragonwood trees to tens of billions. Master, don't worry. It was very experienced in cultivating plants. Dragonwood trees were also considered a type of plant. Very good. Xia Ping was very satisfied because he could obtain a large amount of dragonwood sourced from the dragonwood trees. This energy was equivalent to dragon crystals. As long as he had a large number of dragon crystals, not only could they help him cultivate, but they could also activate the power of the ancient heavenly dragon talisman. It was equivalent to him having a huge trump card. Master, this zombie beast seems to be in a deep sleep and evolving. It won't wake up anytime soon. How should we deal with it? The green ox asked, pointing to a black sphere that was floating not far away. Ever since it signed a contract with Xia Ping, the zombie beast had fallen into a deep sleep. It seemed that its body had undergone some strange changes, but it was not clear what the changes were. Let's put it aside for now. No, it's better to temporarily isolate it in a special space. After all, no one knows what will happen when it wakes up. It's better to avoid any accidents. Xia Ping thought carefully and decided to first isolate the zombie beast and deal with it separately. Although the zombie beast had a soul seal and was completely obedient to him, the problem was that the zombie beast was too dangerous. Who knew if it would cause any damage to the mountain river pearl space when it woke up? This space was planted with many of his precious plants. It could not be accidentally destroyed by the zombie beast. Otherwise his efforts would all go to waste. Understood, master. The green ox nodded, indicating that it understood. It immediately sealed the sleeping zombie beast. Several days later, inside the dragonwood forest, Xia Ping sat cross-legged on the ground, circulating the pure young immortal incantation. With his body as the center, he created an energy field that covered 100,000 li, like a kunpeng swallowing everything in its path. Vaguely, the space around him began to vibrate in an incredible rhythm. The 5 million dragon trees around him also seemed to breathe with Xia Ping's breathing, as if they were resonating with the power in Xia Ping's body. In the depths of his purple palace, the world tree was also breathing. Its body emitted bursts of gentle green light. It swallowed and spat out the world origin qi, constantly strengthening its body. Xia Ping closed his eyes, but he could sense that the 5 million dragon trees seemed to have transformed into 5 million specks of light. At the same time, wisps of mysterious energy were being transmitted to the world tree, serving as nutrients for it. If someone saw the world tree, they would definitely be shocked because the world tree was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, 50 meters, and in the end it grew to a height of 100 meters. It was at least 20 to 30 stories high. More importantly, dense green runes appeared on the leaves and branches of the world tree. They were mysterious, ancient, great, and vast. They seemed to contain the endless mysteries of the universe. At the same time, the world tree also emitted a rich mysterious energy that spread throughout the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers. The trees that grew in the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers, including the dragon trees, the golden corn, the crystal rice, and the many 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs, all seemed to have received a huge supplement of energy. They grew strong and healthy, increasing the source energy in their bodies. Obviously, cultivating under these spiritual objects and absorbing the aura of these spiritual objects was beneficial to the growth of the world tree. Even if these spiritual objects received the energy of the world tree, it would be greatly beneficial. The two sides could help each other. As the world tree grew, Xia Ping felt that his body was also undergoing earth-shattering changes. His soul seemed to be rapidly merging with the world tree. If someone could see Xia Ping's soul, they would immediately find that there was a towering tree growing in the depths of his soul. That was the world tree. It was indomitable. Countless roots pierced into the depths of Xia Ping's soul. Its branches expanded outwards, constantly increasing the width of Xia Ping's soul. Because of these roots, his soul was extremely sturdy. It was as if he had built a house with steel and concrete. Even if he encountered a level 18 hurricane or a level 10 earthquake, he would still be safe and sound. If someone wanted to use illusions, curses, or other spiritual powers to kill Xiaoping, it would be useless. This was equivalent to having the world tree protecting his soul. It was extremely sturdy. Walala, Xiaoping used the pure yang immortal art. He found that the world tree had merged with his soul. It seemed to make his perception of the universe clearer. He could absorb 10 times more energy than before. What was more amazing was that the branches and roots of the world tree penetrated the void and took root in the space. This also allowed him to sense many dimensional spaces in the depths of the universe. It seemed that every root had pierced into a dimensional space and was absorbing the energy of the dimensional space. This is a dimensional space? Xiaoping's soul immediately sensed the unique dimensional spaces in the depths of the void. Some were flame-dimensional spaces. It was a boundless world of fire. It was filled with endless flames. Ordinary life could not survive here at all. Some were ice-dimensional spaces. It was a world of ice and snow. It was white and whistling. There was ice everywhere. It was as if even blood would be frozen. Some were metal-dimensional spaces. This dimensional space was filled with gunmetal chi. It transformed into sabers, swords, halberds, spears, and 18 other weapons. Each weapon contained endless killing intent. If someone accidentally entered this place, they would immediately be assimilated into metal. There were countless such dimensional worlds. They seemed to form the energy of the universe and maintain the operation of the universe. Incredible. Xiaoping was very touched. It was as if he had peered into the great mystery of the universe. It was an unchanging truth. This should have been a scene that could only be seen after advancing to the returning nature realm and condensing the primordial spirit. However, with the help of the world tree, he could see this scene in advance and feel the mystery of the dimensional space. However, it was natural for the world tree to be able to do this, because the world tree itself was rooted in the void. It grew up by absorbing the energy of the endless dimensional worlds. Its roots were connected to the dimensional space. Its branches carried the stars. Its trunk supported the universe. It itself was a world. Even if it was only in its infancy, it could communicate with the dimensional space and absorb the energy of the void. Chapter 1650. Amazing. Xiaoping sensed the dimensions deep in the universe. He used his martial arts and the world tree trembled slightly. Green runes flashed on each of its roots, producing a devouring power. At the same time, many small black holes appeared in the depths of the void. They were the size of a thumb and were densely packed. Then a large amount of energy poured down from the depths of the dimension. Like a flood, it poured into Xiaoping's body. It was as if he was bathing in an ocean of energy. Every pore on his body was breathing. Comfortable. Xiaoping felt comfortable all over. He felt a sense of happiness that he had never felt before. It was as if he was wrapped in his mother's amniotic fluid. It was warm and peaceful. The amount of energy he absorbed was much better than before. Walala, the spiritual power in his body was increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The space deep in the purple mansion was also being filled up by a large amount of spiritual power. Just this one round of cultivation had saved him several years of effort in condensing his magical power. I see. Xiaoping also understood why the returning truth realm cultivators were so powerful. After reaching the returning truth realm, the amount of energy needed to improve was astronomical. It was not enough to just absorb the chi of heaven and earth. It was estimated that he would not improve much until he died of old age. It was as ridiculous as trying to fill the ocean with a bucket of water. Only by communicating with the dimensional world and swallowing the boundless energy of the dimensional world could one quickly improve their cultivation. But some returning truth realm cultivators with weak yuan shen could only connect to some weak and shallow dimensions. This way, the amount of energy they absorbed was extremely small. It also caused their speed of improvement to be much slower. But Xiaoping was different. Even if he had not reached the returning truth realm and had not condensed yuan shen, he could still use the power of the world tree to sense the deeper dimensions and absorb the boundless energy. If I can get more spiritual items, I can definitely speed up the growth of the world tree. This way, I can connect to more dimensions and absorb more energy. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. Now he also knew how to speed up the growth of the world tree. This required collecting a large amount of plants. But not ordinary plants, but spiritual and rare plants. By absorbing the chi from these plants, the growth of the world tree could be sped up and obtain sufficient nutrients. At this time, on the other side, a mysterious demi-plane was floating around the universe like a floating island. Inside the demi-plane was a huge and majestic laboratory. In this laboratory there were many precious experimental equipment. These were treasures that couldn't be bought with money. There were also many huge glass bottles that contained a large number of experimental samples. If someone were to see this scene, they would definitely be scared to death because these experimental specimens were all extremely terrifying. Taotai, Tiger Flood Dragon, Luan, Baifeng, Heavenly Dog, and so on, were all terrifying existences of the divine beast level. However, these existences were all killed and turned into experimental subjects. Right, add a bit of dragon flame grass, 3 drops of phoenix blood, a dreamy dew flower, a demon emperor grass, and a portion of dragon bone. I should be able to concoct a pretty good potion. At this moment, a domineering woman with a horn on her head and an extremely hot figure in a white coat was observing various experimental data. She seemed to have fallen into a state of fanaticism as she concocted a potion. She was the dragon scientist Titania. She stared at the container on the table. Many materials were fused together, and an intense chemical reaction immediately occurred. It rolled like lava, and at the same time, clouds of black mist appeared. Vaguely there were skeletons rolling in the black mist. It contained terrifying curse power and illusory power, as if there were demons roaring in the black mist. It was hair-raising. Whoosh! In the end the materials boiled to the extreme. Countless molecules collided violently, and the entire container exploded. The explosion was several times more terrifying than the explosion of a planet. However, the moment it was about to explode, Titania seemed to have gotten used to it. She waved her hand, and a mass of chaotic energy immediately wrapped around the container. A wormhole immediately appeared in front of it. The container was immediately thrown out. After flying for an unknown distance, it suddenly exploded. The star field within a radius of thousands of light-years was affected, and countless asteroids were blasted into powder. Fortunately, this was an uninhabited star field. Otherwise, who knew how many people would have died? So I failed again. Looks like this immortal potion is very difficult to concoct. What went wrong? Titania was very distressed. She frowned and fell into deep thought. Beep. At that moment, Titania's communicator immediately received a message, causing her to wake up from her frenzied state. She looked at it and her eyes lit up like stars. There's actually such a thing? The failed corpse beast was actually taken away by someone who broke the seal and even successfully enslaved it? How did he do it? Titania received the news that Wu Wuti had enslaved corpse beasts in the Western universe, which shocked her. This was because corpse beasts could be said to be the most terrifying monster she had ever created. They might not necessarily be the strongest, but they were definitely the most terrifying and dangerous. Even she was a little afraid of them. However, such a corpse beast had actually been enslaved and controlled by someone else. It was really unbelievable. This also made her, who had lived for who knew how long, a little interested. Interesting, really interesting. I really want to see this little guy and ask him how he did it. Titania's eyes were filled with fanaticism. She had an urge to see Wu Wuti. Thinking of this, she gently tapped, and a mysterious ripple merged into the universe. It was like a signal that was transmitted to various parts of the universe. Convey my orders. Immediately find Wu Wuti's whereabouts. Once you get any news, quickly send it over. Although she was a universe-level fugitive wanted by countless saints, it did not mean that she did not have friends or forces in the dark. With her methods, it was easy to secretly enslave and conquer a few races to do many things for her. Even saints would not be able to find out. In fact, her forces in the dark were even more terrifying than many saints imagined. They covered the entire universe. If not for such an intelligence network, she would have probably been caught long ago. How could she escape unscathed every time? Of course, other than intelligence, her strength was not to be underestimated. And this time, an acquaintance had asked her if she had sent people to enslave corpse beasts. After all, the matter of corpse beasts was too important. Even a saint had to be careful. Yes. Chapter 1651. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. The stars were docked in a hidden meteorite zone in the Western universe, disguised as a meteorite. Even if a spaceship passed by, it would be impossible to find it. Xia Ping stayed in the space of the mountain river pearl to cultivate. In these 3 months he cultivated honestly and did nothing else. He comprehended the dimension through the tree of world and devoured the energy instilled by the dimension world. After such hard work, he made rapid progress and raised his dermic power to the peak of the golden elixir realm, reaching the perfected realm. He was just 1 step away from condensing his primordial spirit and breaking through to the restoration realm. The dermic power in his body surged, and every meridian surged like the Yellow River. Even his blood condensed and flowed like magma, and many infernal golden crow runes appeared. If someone saw the golden elixir in Xiaoping's body, they would see that the shadow of the primordial spirit in the depths of the golden elixir was getting clearer and clearer, like a mature chick that would break out of its shell at any time. Also, because of comprehending the dimension, his soul power was more than 30% stronger than before. He had understood some of the mysteries of the primordial spirit in advance and gained great benefits. This also made the dermic power waves on Xiaoping's body even more terrifying, forming a black hole that seemed to be able to devour everything. Phew. Xiaoping took a deep breath and calmed the dermic power waves in his body. This was considered the end of this cultivation. His eyes glowed, and there seemed to be a sun in the depths of his pupils, containing terrifying energy. With a slight movement, his gaze could penetrate a mountain. Beep beep. At this time, Xiaoping's communicator rang. He subconsciously looked over and found that it was Qiushue and Su Mei. They were requesting a video call. They actually contacted me. Did something happen? He was very curious why Su Mei and Qiushue contacted him, so he reached out and clicked on the connection. Dong. Immediately, a virtual projection appeared, and Su Mei and Qiushue's beautiful and sexy figures immediately appeared in front of Xiaoping. It was as if they were very close. Xiaoping. Su Mei and Qiushue looked at Xiaoping with very complicated expressions. Because of what happened in the dense fog star zone last time, they got along with Xiaoping very awkwardly. After all that had happened to both of them, it was impossible to pretend that it had never happened. What's the matter? Are you pregnant? The baby is mine, right? How many months has it been? Xiaoping blinked his eyes and looked at Qiushu and Su Mei's stomachs to see if there were any signs of protrusion. He asked a series of questions like cannonballs. You're the one who's pregnant. Qiushu couldn't help but spit at Xiaoping, and her pretty face turned red. This bastard's dog mouth couldn't spit out ivory. They just met and communicated, and he shamelessly said such words. If we are really pregnant, will you marry us? Su Mei giggled and looked at Xiaoping. Marry, of course, marry together. Even if I'm not pregnant, I still have to marry her. Xiaoping said carelessly, I've thought about the names of the children. The firstborn will be called Xiada, the second will be called Xiaer, the third will be called Xiasan regardless of gender, and so on. This will save the trouble of naming them. After all, if they have a football team in the future, it will be very troublesome to name them. Qiushu was speechless. She wanted to bite him. What kind of father was he? He actually dared to give such a name. Was he not afraid of being beaten to death by the child in the future? He was simply too irresponsible. Sister Qiushu, Sister Su, you two actually have that kind of relationship? At this moment, a clear and melodious voice sounded out from the side, and the tone was bewildered and uncertain. Another graceful figure appeared beside Su Mei and Qiushu. It was a stunning woman with long wavy hair. She wore a tight midriff-bearing top on her upper body, revealing her impressive breasts. She wore a pair of denim hot pants on her lower body, revealing a pair of fair and long legs. Her legs were amazingly long and straight, making people tremble. Her whole person looked like a complete mess. Those legs, that chest, that tongue, she was simply a peerless beauty, making countless men salivate, wishing they could immediately kneel under her pomegranate skirt. Nangong Wu. Xiaoping recognized this stunning woman at once. She was Nangong Wu, a fellow villager from Yanhuang's star. He didn't expect to see her again. Although he also learned about Nangong Wu's current situation from Qiushu and Su Mei, they hadn't seen each other for a long time, and he didn't know how the other party was doing now. Don't call me that, rogue. Pervert. Smelly bug. Nangong Wu looked at Xiaoping angrily and gnashed her teeth. She was originally very happy to see Xiaoping again, and this was a reunion that she had been looking forward to for a long time. Perhaps she would even cry tears of joy. But who would have thought that this rogue actually had an unknown dirty relationship with teacher Qiushu and the royal sister Su Mei? They were almost pregnant, which was simply despicable. One must know that Qiushu used to be his teacher, class teacher, and elder. She didn't expect this beast to do this, and it seemed that he was cheating on both of them. Although she also knew that this bastard was a rogue, she didn't expect him to be this rogue. He even dared to fuck his teacher. What else wouldn't he dare to do? Was he so daring that he wouldn't even let go of his beautiful mother-in-law? Little Wu, it's not what you think. It was actually just an accident. Qiushu said with a guilty conscience. Oh, accident? That is to say, this is true and you really had that kind of relationship? Nangong Wu was very keen, and she immediately grasped the essence of the matter. This was what women were like. Before they confirmed their relationship, they were like Sherlock Holmes. They were extremely rational, and no clues could escape their deduction. However, once the relationship was confirmed, all rationality would be gone. Their IQ would return to zero, and they would be swayed by their emotions and cause trouble for no reason. Unless it was a man who had an affair, she would have to catch him in bed. Only then would her IQ return to normal. Qiushu was very embarrassed and didn't know what to say. She wanted to bite Xiaoping, this bastard, to death. Xiaowu, no matter what the truth is, we really did have sex. However, Su Mei generously admitted it. Her beautiful eyes roamed about, radiating a radiance. I have to say, this man is indeed skilled. He is rich in experience. He served me obediently, leaving me with endless aftertaste. You're too kind. This is just an insignificant strength of mine. If there's a chance, let's spar again. Xiaoping said modestly. Have sex with your husband. Nangong Wu gnashed her teeth in anger. These two bastards had definitely hooked up with each other. They had feelings for each other, and everyone had their own needs. Heavenly lightning stirring up the flames of the earth and so on, it was out of control. Chapter 1652. Xiaowu, your thinking is too outdated. What era is it now? We are all adults. What's wrong with having some needs? Why do you care so much? Su Mei suddenly approached Nangong Wu and licked her lips. Of course, if you want, you can take the initiative. Sometimes, women are too reserved and will let go of some good men. Take the initiative? Nangong Wu blinked her big eyes, a little confused. Su Mei whispered in her ear, taking the initiative means that you strip naked in front of a man, push him down on the bed, and then do this and that, and then scream. She described a series of indescribable things very vividly. Her tone was ambiguous and captivating. Ah, female hooligan, shameless. Hearing this, Nangong Wu's pretty face suddenly turned red. Her head seemed to be so hot that steam appeared. Her body was very hot, as if the temperature had risen by several degrees. She immediately thought of many scenes that were not suitable for children. She actually ran away with an ah, because she really couldn't stand such a big stimulation. Compared to such an experienced female hooligan, she was really too young. Haha, how cute. Seeing Nangong Wu run away like a rabbit, Su Mei giggled with a happy expression. Xiaowu. Qiushu called out, wanting to stop Nangong Wu, but Nangong Wu ran too fast and disappeared in a flash. This speed was faster than the speed she used in the past. Su Mei, you're too much. What did you say to her? Why did she run away in anger? Qiushu glared at Su Mei, very angry. Su Mei spread her hands. I just told her some things about mature women in advance. It's no big deal. Moreover, she's not a child anymore, so don't worry. By the way, don't we still have business to talk about? She stealthily changed the topic. Hearing that business, Qiushu also calmed down. She turned to look at Xiaoping and said, Xiaoping, I contacted you this time because we accidentally discovered a primitive planet when we were carrying out a mission in the northern universe. On that planet, there was a cave abode left behind by a Thunder Retribution Realm expert after he died. That cave abode contained the Thunder Retribution Realm expert's life savings and many treasures. However, his cave is surrounded by a powerful restrictive array formation. If it was a restrictive array formation, there would be a way to break it. However, the problem is that his cave's defense is not as simple as a restrictive array formation. He also left behind a powerful deviant flame to guard the cave, making it impossible to get close. Heavenly flame? Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat. What kind of heavenly flame is it? He was instantly moved. His pure young immortal incantation needed to devour a large number of deviant flames in order to evolve. He was very concerned about the whereabouts of every deviant flame. After all, this was related to the progress of his cultivation. It's a purplish-black flame. It's called the Star Blaze. Qiushu said in a deep voice. Star Blaze flame. Hearing this, Xiaoping was immediately overjoyed. He knew the power of this deviant flame. It was definitely one of the best. It was born in the starry sky and grew stronger by absorbing the power of the stars. Because this deviant flame was born in the boundless starry sky, it was very difficult for ordinary people to find it. Moreover, this deviant flame was able to grow stronger and evolve safely, causing it to exist for a long time. It even gave birth to a weak spiritual intelligence. It was an extremely difficult task to capture it. If one was not careful, it would escape. Moreover, this kind of flame was very powerful. It could burn stars. Ordinary objects that approached it would be burned into nothingness. Even almighty experts were afraid of it and did not dare to approach it. If he could devour this Star Blaze flame, he would be able to greatly improve his cultivation and strengthen the power of the deviant flame in his body. It was no wonder that Qiushu and the others were unable to break the cave abode's restrictive array formation. With the existence of this deviant flame, it was practically impregnable. If one dared to approach it, only death would await them. However, for Xiaoping this was nothing. Instead, it was a fortuitous encounter. We know that you cultivate a unique cultivation method that can devour all kinds of deviant flames. Therefore, we wanted to invite you here and subdue your deviant flame. At the same time, we can also obtain the treasure left behind by the Retribution Realm expert. Su Mei stated the purpose of their contact. This was a win-win situation. Xiaoping would obtain the deviant flame, and they would obtain the Retribution Realm expert's treasure to strengthen their cultivation. No problem at all. Where is the planet? Xiaoping immediately asked. He was not interested in the Retribution Realm expert's treasure at all. In this Dragonwood secret realm alone, he had killed God knows how many Retribution Realm experts and obtained great benefits from it. It could be said that his current wealth was not something an ordinary Retribution Realm expert could imagine. To him, ordinary treasures were better than nothing. Alright, this is the place. Qiushu immediately sent a star chart to Xiaoping. Then she asked, "Oh right, when will you arrive?" She wanted to know the exact time Xiaoping would arrive. 3 days. 3 days should be enough. Xiaoping thought for a moment and answered. Qiushu was shocked. So fast? According to her plan, Xiaoping would need at least a few months to arrive. After all, the distance between the Eastern Universe and the Northern Universe was too far. Well, I have a powerful flying treasure. But let's not talk about this for now. Let's talk when we meet. Xiaoping ended the call. He could not wait to go to the Northern Universe. On the other hand, on a primitive planet. After ending the call, Qiushu said excitedly, "I didn't expect Xiaoping to arrive so soon. It seems that we should obtain this Retribution Realm expert's cave abode. It's better to be careful. The information about this cave abode is very secretive. Only the 3 of us know about it." Su Mei narrowed her eyes. "But many people in the sect are watching our every move. Those with ulterior motives might discover something fishy. If that happens, it will be a bit troublesome. A Retribution Realm expert's cave abode is enough to attract the greed of many people. Geniuses like them with great luck would attract the attention of countless people with their every move." This was like a beacon of light. Many people stared at these geniuses with amazing luck and followed them, hoping to get some luck and obtain treasures. In fact, many cultivators in the universe did the same. They were unlucky and couldn't obtain treasures by taking risks. So, they secretly followed those with great luck and got a share of the loot. Many geniuses had a large amount of luck plundered, and thus became ordinary. "You're right." Qiushu nodded. "But it's only 3 days. It shouldn't be a big problem. Let's find Xiao Wu first and discuss something with her. I saw her run northeast. I'll be able to catch her soon." Chapter 1653. The Northern Universe was different from the Eastern Universe, the Western Universe, and the Southern Universe. It was the region with the least number of people among the 4 major universes. This was because the Northern Universe's environment was extremely harsh, and there were very few planets suitable for life. In the Northern Universe there were many space secret realms and space tunnels. From time to time, space storms, dimensional explosions, and so on would erupt. Every voyage was very dangerous. If one accidentally encountered a space storm or space turbulence, they would definitely die. Therefore, every voyage had to be careful. Among the many planets in the Northern Universe, most of them were either erupting volcanoes, covered in ice and snow, or filled with poisonous gas, lightning, and torrential rain. They were all planets with all kinds of extreme weather. This also resulted in the ferocity of the Northern Universe's creatures. They could be said to be the most valiant race in the universe. In terms of individual combat power, the Northern Universe's creatures had the highest average. At the same time, the Northern Universe also had the most bandits and interstellar pirates. It was extremely chaotic and they robbed everywhere. Many famous and ferocious interstellar pirates in history came from the Northern Universe. It was also because the Northern Universe's environment was too harsh that many Northern Universe races always wanted to invade the Eastern Universe, the Western Universe, and so on, hoping to occupy a star field. However, they were too few in number, which resulted in them being unable to dominate. They were always defeated, but they had never extinguished their ambitions. As expected of the Northern Universe, the environment is really harsh. At this moment, Xiaoping piloted the stars. After more than a day of sailing, he finally arrived in the Northern Universe. As soon as he arrived in the Northern Universe, he immediately received a baptism of the Northern Universe. A huge black hole suddenly appeared in the distance, spewing out a terrifying energy storm like a star exploding. Such an explosion could destroy an area thousands of light years away. Fortunately, he was piloting the same-class spaceship, Stars. It was extremely fast and had extremely strong defense, so he easily avoided the energy storm. Otherwise, he would have died without a doubt. When this energy swept past, tens of thousands of planets in the surroundings were reduced to ashes. Moreover, this was not a coincidence but a frequent occurrence. From time to time, a black hole would suddenly appear, triggering the energy from the depths of the dimension and pouring down. It was impossible to guard against it. He also knew why the Northern Universe races were famous in the universe. They were fierce and valiant. It was impossible for creatures that grew up in such a harsh environment not to be fierce. Those that were not strong enough would have long died in the storms. It was survival of the fittest. "Corinne, how much longer until we arrive?" Xiaoping asked. According to the star chart, the unknown primitive planet is in the Red Sun sector, which is under the jurisdiction of Mingyue Court. "It's about a day's journey away, so we'll be able to reach it soon," Corinne replied. "Yes." Xiaoping nodded. He sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate, inhaling and exhaling the qi of heaven and earth. A day later, Myriad Star arrived at the Red Sun star zone. It passed by many planets along the way and finally arrived at the end of the star map. It was a remote primitive planet. The surrounding planets were all barren, and there were no signs of life within a radius of tens of thousands of light years. Dong. Stars landed on the primitive planet and arrived in front of a valley. Qiushu, Sumei, and Nangongwu were waiting in the valley. They had also received news from Xiaoping on their communicators. With a snap, the hatch opened and Xiaoping walked out of the spaceship. Dong. However, just as Xiaoping walked out and landed on the ground, a figure immediately rushed up and with lightning speed, ruthlessly stomped on his foot. "Nangongwu, what are you trying to do?" Xiaoping looked at the girl who had jumped in front of him speechlessly. Did she think that she could hurt him with just one stomp? Did she really think that he had trained his martial arts for nothing? He had long become a diamond body, the kind that could not be destroyed by ordinary magic treasures? Scumbag. Nangongwu snorted coldly. Her beautiful eyes were very unfriendly, as if she was looking for places on Xiaoping's body that she could bite. She completely wanted to eat him like a meat bun. "What scumbag? Nangongwu, don't think that I'll be afraid of you just because you've put on weight," Xiaoping warned. Hearing this, Nangongwu immediately exploded. "Xiaoping, say that again. Who's put on weight?" She wanted to kick him again. "Some parts are fat and some parts are thin." Xiaoping looked Nangongwu up and down and touched his chin. "Tui, pervert." Nangongwu's pretty face turned red, and she glared at him fiercely. "Alright, let's stop here. We still have important matters to attend to." Sumei reached out and grabbed Nangongwu back. Qiushu stepped forward and went straight to the point. "The cave residence of the Thunder Retribution Realm expert is in this valley. It's surrounded by star blaze fire. See if you can deal with it." She pointed at the valley in front of them. "Yeah." Xiaoping looked over and his divine sense permeated it. He immediately sensed that this valley was enveloped by an invisible restrictive formation. It was invisible and its aura was restrained. It even produced the power of illusion, making people unable to see the miraculous aspects of this valley. However, in front of his golden crow hell eyes, this bit of power of illusion was nothing. He saw through it in an instant. Boom, two solidified gazes penetrated the valley, breaking through the void like lightning. They penetrated the restrictive formation of the valley and immediately discovered that there was a large amount of purplish-black flames burning in the periphery of the valley. Clusters of purplish-black flames covered the entrance of the valley like stars in the sky. There were 360 of them, and they seemed to have formed a heavenly cycle star formation. It seemed that if anyone dared to enter this valley's restrictive formation, they would be instantly engulfed by the star blaze fire and die without a complete corpse. It was no wonder that Qiushu and the others were so afraid and couldn't approach. It seemed that this fallen Thunder Retribution Realm expert was not a simple figure. Interesting. Xiaoping smiled slightly. His figure flickered and he immediately stepped forward, stepping into the valley. "Xiaoping!" Nangongwu cried out in alarm. She was very worried and wanted to warn Xiaoping about the dangers of the valley. Although she was angry at this bastard's actions, she didn't want to see him die in vain. "Don't worry, that kid is not an idiot. If he dares to go in, it means that he has absolute confidence." Su Mei held Nangong Wu's hand and told her not to be nervous. Indeed, just watch. These alien flames shouldn't have much effect on him. Qiushu had dual cultivated with Xia Ping once before, so she knew some of Xia Ping's secrets, especially the peerless cultivation method that could devour the alien flames in the world. It was extraordinary. Throughout the entire Mingyue Pavilion, there was probably no secret book that could compare to this cultivation method. Whoosh, the moment Xia Ping stepped into the restrictive formation of the valley, it was like he had alerted the snake. The star blaze on the periphery of the valley was completely alarmed, and it was completely enraged. Chapter 1654. Boom boom boom. In the blink of an eye, the 360 stars formed by the star flame bombarded down. Every strike contained earth-shattering power that shook the heavens and shook the earth. In fact, these were all astral flames, terrifying flames that could even burn planets into ashes. They possessed the characteristics of scorching heat, destruction, and destruction. They were extremely terrifying. Faintly, a gigantic astral formation smashed downwards, as though it was bombarding the heavens and earth with boundless might. Within the radius of this grand formation, even the tiniest speck of dust would be destroyed. Good timing. Xia Ping circulated the pure yang immortal art. The mana in his body was like an ocean, seething. Each of his pores emitted flaming runes that flew into the air and rapidly condensed. A moment later, a solar furnace was completely condensed, blazing fiercely. It was like a furnace used to refine heavenly flames. Countless mysterious runes were engraved on its exterior. Numerous stars formed from astral flames smashed into the solar furnace, and were instantly devoured cleanly by the solar furnace, as though it was a whale swallowing its prey. Although the astral flames were extremely powerful, to the golden crow of hell, the ancestor of all flames, these types of heavenly flames were nothing more than ordinary snacks, not even worth mentioning. As for the solar furnace, it was a supreme innate technique that could refine all types of flames. It was the nemesis of many heavenly flames. Roar. At this moment, the astral flames felt an immense threat. Its entire body turned cold as it let out a roar that resembled the roar of a divine beast, yet also resembled the cry of a ferocious bird. It circulated all of its power, and the flames flourished. The great heavenly cycle stellar formation absorbed the power of the stars, and its power increased explosively. Strands of flames turned into nuclear bombs, exploding crazily and producing a terrifying impact force. The astral flames wanted to use all their strength, wanting to break out of the solar furnace and escape. Devour. But it wasn't easy for Xia Ping to capture all the astral flames into the solar furnace. How could he allow them to escape so easily? He circulated the pure yang immortal art. The solar furnace in the air revolved slowly as dark golden runes of pure yang appeared. They were like millstones that rapidly extinguished the astral flames. Bang bang bang. After a short period of time, the scripture appeared from the depths of the furnace, enveloping everything. No matter how the starfire struggled or how it attacked, it was useless. It was easily suppressed. It was like the solar furnace had become an absolute barrier that sealed the space, isolating the three realms. Even if the astral flame had the ability to flee into the void, it had no way to escape. After an unknown period of time, these astral blazing flames were all refined by the sun furnace. All the ferocious nature of the astral blazing flames was extinguished, leaving behind only the essence of the astral blazing flames. The seed formed by the star blaze fire was incomparably mystical. Many star runes appeared on its surface, as if there were many stars living within it, condensing into a star array. It floated in midair and slowly rotated. The power of the stars in the depths of the void also seemed to be drawn down and poured into the seed, strengthening its power source. Hu! Xia Ping opened his mouth wide and instantly swallowed the mystical flame seed of the star blazing flame into his stomach. In an instant, it fused with his dantian and became one with it. Rumble, after the astral blazing flame was completely devoured, the golden crow of hell bloodline in his body seemed to be stimulated as well. It was as if the pathway to evolution had been stimulated. Numerous golden crow of hell cells were unsealed. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. In the end, over 1 million cells had been awakened. Up until now, he had already awakened over 8 million golden crow of hell cells. The golden crow of hell bloodline in his body became even denser. Numerous golden crow runes appeared in the depths of his bloodline, as if they had completely fused with his blood. They contained a hint of indestructibility. At the same time, the magic power in his body also crazily increased. The primordial spirit in the depths of his golden core also seemed to have become stronger. Even his golden core was shaken to the point where cracks appeared. It seemed that after a short period of time, the primordial spirit in his body would be able to condense and break out of his shell. With Xia Ping's body as the center, a tyrannical aura instantly appeared. It was like a barrier that enveloped a radius of hundreds of thousands of kilometers, almost covering the entire planet. Any living creature that was enveloped by this barrier would feel a trace of fear in their hearts. The valley's restrictive spell has been broken. Qiushu's divine sense was very sensitive. She immediately sensed that the outer restrictive spell that had been set up around the valley had disappeared. In an instant, the valley had returned to its original appearance. She discovered that this was just an ordinary valley. There was not a single blade of grass growing in the surroundings. There was a bronze door in the valley. The words "Flame Reverend's Cave Abode" were carved on it, emitting a trace of mystical power. The star-blazing fire has also disappeared. Nangongwu also discovered this situation. It can't be. He actually ate it. She was dumbfounded as she saw the scene of Xia Ping devouring the star-blazing fire. It should be known that this was an extraordinary flame. Its power was boundless. If an ordinary person approached it, they would die and be burned to ashes. But now, Xia Ping actually had a way to devour the extraordinary flame. It was really unbelievable. As expected of Xia Ping. He is really too powerful. Su Mei's beautiful eyes shone with a strange light. Her eyes shone brightly and she looked extremely charming. Come over. The restrictive spell of this valley has been broken. Xia Ping stood in front of the cave abode. As the restrictive spell of the star-blazing fire was broken, the entire restrictive spell of the cave abode had also collapsed. Now the cave abode had no defensive power. He could enter at any time. Haha, thank you all for helping us break the restrictive spell of this place. I'm extremely grateful. Now you all can leave. I Yun Kongtian will take over this cave abode. At this moment, a voice was heard. The voice was like thunder shaking the earth. It emitted the aura of the peak of the returning nature realm. The primordial spirit activated the power of the dimensional space. A young man in black flew over from afar. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking extremely arrogant. Beside him, more than 10 young disciples appeared. They were all at least in the golden elixir realm. Once these people appeared, they immediately suppressed the entire place. They were invincible. Yun Kongtian? Who is he? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He already knew that there were people lying in ambush nearby. However, their auras were too weak like flies. Therefore he didn't care much. He didn't expect that this group of people would really dare to jump out. Be careful. He is a successor disciple of the Black Heaven sect. He is at the peak of the returning nature realm. He is an expert who has condensed his primordial spirit. Qiushue and Su Mei obviously knew Yun Kongtian. However, they didn't expect that Yun Kongtian and his group of people were lying in ambush nearby, waiting for them to break the restrictive spell of this cave abode. Yun Kongtian, why are you here? Nangong Wu's expression changed. She seemed to know Yun Kongtian. She was very surprised that he would appear here. After all, he was a disciple of the Black Heaven sect. Chapter 1655. Humph. Hearing this, Yin Tiankong sneered. His eyes revealed a hint of ruthlessness. Of course you don't want me to appear in this place so that I won't stop you from meeting your lover. If it weren't for some junior sisters in Mingyue court who told me about your whereabouts, I wouldn't have known that you were such a despicable woman. You're a disgrace to your mother's Huang family. Nangong Wu, don't forget that you're my fiancé. You're the link between the Wang family and the Yun family. You can't do whatever you want. He exuded a gloomy aura. Originally, he went to Mingyue court to meet his fiancée, Nangong Wu. He followed her secretly and even planned to play the hero and save the damsel in distress to increase her affection for him. However, he didn't expect that Nangong Wu would go on a date with her lover on this primitive planet. They would go on an adventure together and try to get the treasure left by a Thunder Tribulation State powerhouse. How could this be? If these two were to succeed, wouldn't he become rich overnight? Then they would run away like dogs and live together forever? Wouldn't he, Yun Kongtian, become the laughingstock of the mysterious heaven sect and be cuckolded by others? He couldn't tolerate such a thing. It made him so angry that he almost couldn't control the anger in his heart. What bullshit fiancé. Those old bastards from the Wang family made their own decisions. I didn't admit it. Don't use the Huang family's rules on me. I have nothing to do with you. Don't think too highly of yourself. Nangong Wu said coldly. I don't care if you admit it or not. Since you've signed a contract with the Yun family, you're a member of the Yun family. Other men can't touch you or else they'll die. Yun Qiankong's eyes were filled with ferocity. To him, a fiancé was not important. What was important was that he, Yun Tiankong, could not lose face. Of course, the treasure left by the Thunder Tribulation State powerhouse also belonged to him. It was killing two birds with one stone. His other subordinates also emitted a terrifying murderous aura. They stared at him covetously. Nangong Wu's expression was grave. She knew how terrifying the Yun family was. It was a huge force that was not inferior to the Wang family. It occupied an extremely important position in the mysterious Heaven sect and had 7 or 8 Thunder Retribution Realm cultivators. Of course, the Yun family did not have any sages. Otherwise, they would not have joined the Black Heaven sect. Instead, they would have chosen to be independent and become a sage family, ruling over a star region. It was also extremely difficult to advance to the sage realm. There were thousands of Thunder Tribulation Realm experts, but only 1 in 10,000 could advance to the sage realm. Either their lifespans were exhausted, or they died under the heavenly tribulation. Not many could survive. Where did this dog come from? Why is no one taking it away? Isn't it afraid of biting people? At this moment, Xia Ping suddenly spoke. Maybe it's a rabid dog that can bite people everywhere because it's sick. Su Mei said with a smile. If you are sick, then don't come out and make a fool of yourself. Are you afraid that others won't recognize you? Xia Ping said carelessly. Su Mei giggled. Maybe this is the characteristic of the disease and he doesn't know it himself. She and Xia Ping echoed each other. Qiushi was speechless. These two bastards really wanted the world to be in chaos. Wasn't this a slap in the face? This bastard. Nangong Wu fiercely glared at Xia Ping. She originally wanted to solve the problem, but she didn't expect this bastard to add fuel to the fire. If they completely offended Yun Qiankong's group, it would be over. Not to mention the Yun family's enormous power, just Yun Qiankong's group's current strength alone was enough to kill them dozens of times without even taking a breath. Was it easy for her to work hard? This peaceful situation was destroyed before it even started. Hearing this, Yun Qiankong's group's expression immediately changed. They were born in the Yun family and had a noble status. They were used to being high and mighty and were always flattered by others. When had they ever heard such sarcastic words? This was simply a slap in the face. Many of the Yun family's subordinates were furious and wanted to attack. However, Yun Tiankong was a scheming person after all. He didn't get angry immediately and waved his hand to stop his subordinates from attacking. Don't attack. Just wait. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Xia Ping's group. He said indifferently, if I'm not wrong, you are called Qiushu and Su Mei. You are close to Nangong Wu. It is said that you come from a place called Cloud World. They were brought back from Cloud World by Nangong Wu's mother, Wang Feng. They are talented and are favored by Mingyue Court. I have never seen you before, but I know all of Nangong Wu's connections in Mingyue Court. I have never heard of you. So, you must also come from Cloud World. He pointed at Xia Ping and said in a very firm tone. Nangong Wu's expression changed. She didn't expect Yun Tiankong to investigate everything around her so clearly. He knew all of her interpersonal relationships and immediately found out Xia Ping's true identity. Oh, so what if I come from Cloud World? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows and stared at Yun Tiankong in front of him. His body emitted a faint murderous aura. Qiushu and Su Mei also narrowed their eyes and felt the unfriendly tone in Yun Tiankong's words. This direct descendant of the Yun family was probably not someone to be trifled with. So what? Hearing this, Yun Tiankong immediately laughed. The smile on his face was very ferocious. Boy, who do you think you are? A native from Cloud World. The difference between our status is like heaven and earth. It's like the clouds in the sky and the soil on the ground. However, I don't want to talk nonsense with a native like you. Now listen to me. Leave Nangong Wu immediately. Destroy your martial arts and break your limbs. Then, you will become a disabled person and crawl out of here like a dog. Otherwise, I, Yun Tiankong, and my Yun family will personally take action to eliminate the root of the problem. I will send a large number of experts to that bullshit native Cloud World to capture your father and mother, as well as your brothers and friends. I want to see how arrogant you are at that time. How dare you speak loudly to me? Do you think you are so great just because you have a sharp tongue and mock me a little? It's ridiculous. In the universe, the weak are prey to the strong. If you don't have the strength, you should be a coward. Otherwise, you will be punished with the death of your entire family. Let me tell you the truth. I, Yun Tiankong, will take revenge for the smallest grievance. Anyone who dares to offend me will be exterminated. Not even chickens or dogs will be spared. Now I can give you a chance. Kneel in front of me, kowtow and beg for mercy. Admit your mistake. Maybe I will be in a good mood and be magnanimous. I will spare your dog life. Chapter 1656. Hearing this, Xiaoping's face was expressionless. He just looked at the sky as if he was looking at a dead person. Not bad at all. You have intelligence and shrewdness. You actually know how to use this to threaten me. Your words have indeed hit my weak spot, making me feel threatened. Qiushue, Su Mei and Nangong Wu were familiar with Xiaoping's personality. The calmer he looked, the angrier he was. Deep in his heart, there was an endless amount of killing intent. Looks like you are a smart person. I don't need to waste my breath. Seeing Xiaoping submit, Yun Tiankong was very proud. Someone capture this guy. Use the heavenly chains and pierce his spine. Crush his limbs so he can't resist anymore. He ordered his subordinates to do it. He didn't care if this guy was convinced or not. In short, he was going to cripple him. Even if he was not convinced, there was nothing he could do. He had seen many arrogant and unruly people like Yun Tiankong, but after they were crippled, there was nothing they could do about it. Even if Yun Tiankong refused to accept it, he would not be able to do anything to him. Don't worry, young master. We've done this many times. This guy really doesn't know death. He even dared to touch young master's woman. I will make him wish he was dead. I will let him taste the pain of being dead. Let this native learn something. Immediately, 5 or 6 people from the Yun clan jumped at him. They looked like wolves and tigers. One of them was holding a heavenly chain. It was made of heavenly steel and was engraved with dense suppressing runes. It was used to capture powerful cultivators. Once bound, their mana would be sealed. They would be weaker than a chicken and couldn't escape at all. Dong. However, the moment these people got close, Xiaoping immediately punched out. A terrifying force burst out from his body, shaking the surroundings. The whole planet seemed to be trembling slightly. The 6 people from the Yun clan who were close to Xiaoping screamed. They were like pigs being slaughtered. Their bodies couldn't withstand such a terrifying force. With a boom, their bodies exploded one by one, turning into minced meat in midair. Fresh blood sprayed everywhere as if it was free, dyeing the ground red. Even the incomparably hard heavenly profound chains in their hands were fiercely shaken into dozens of pieces by this force, and they turned into pieces of shattered iron that fell to the ground with clanking sounds. What? Before Yun Tiankong could react, and no one present could even notice Xiaoping's speed, in the next second, his throat was grabbed by a big hand, and he was lifted up like a chicken. Ah! Yun Kongtian screamed and his face turned red. His legs kept kicking frantically in the air, trying to struggle, but it was to no avail. That big hand was filled with terrifying magic power, like a real dragon. It seeped into his 5 viscera and 6 bowels, forming a sealing array, completely sealing his magic power. Thus he was like a little chick, unable to struggle or escape after his neck was grabbed. He was terrified to the extreme, but at the same time he was also filled with grief and indignation. He felt extremely humiliated. One had to know what kind of person Yun Kongtian was. He was a powerhouse at the peak of the returning nature realm. He was only one step away from condensing the heaven and earth Dharma idol and becoming a Dharma idol. He was also a direct descendant of the Yun family and a true disciple of the mystic heaven sect. Be it his background or strength, they were both extremely terrifying. A single order from him could destroy dozens of planets. Even if he attacked alone, he could destroy a planet. Such a person was grabbed by the neck like a little chick and lifted up. This was the biggest humiliation in his life. It was an unimaginable scene. At this moment, Yun Kongtian was terrified to the extreme. In his eyes, Xiaoping was just a native at the peak of the Golden Core realm, an ant that he could easily pinch to death. How could Xiaoping be compared to him? Just a few words from him was a fortuitous encounter and luck that this native could never find in his entire life. Who would have thought that this native would be so cruel? With just one move, he killed 5 to 6 of his Golden Core realm underlings. Even he himself was captured by one move like a little chick, unable to resist. Could be said that this was the most powerless moment in his life. Even if he was a direct descendant of the Yun family, even if he was a true disciple of the mystic heaven sect, even if he had thousands of troops behind him, what was the use of that? No one could help him at this moment. His life and death were in the hands of this man in front of him. His heart was filled with fear like a drowning man. Native, what are you doing? Let go of young Master Yun. Do you know who you are trying to kill? Suddenly, a group of Yun family underlings were terrified to the extreme. The direct descendant of the Yun family was in danger and his life was in danger. This immediately caused an uproar. The surrounding people shouted to stop Xia Ping from attacking. They were also extremely afraid because if Yun Tiankong was killed by a lowly native here, then as Yun Tiankong's guards, they would not be able to escape the blame. They would be implicated and sentenced to death as well. One could imagine how terrified and uneasy they were right now. You should know what kind of force the Yin family is. A lowly native like you can't compare to them at all. If you let go of young Master Yun, then everything can be discussed. But if you kill young Master Yun, then there will be no room for negotiation. A subordinate of the Yun family tried to persuade Xia Ping and used both the carrot and the stick. You should know that when the Yun family is angry, the terror will be boundless. Not only will you die, but everyone around you will also die. Even the 9 generations of your family will be wiped out. Do you understand? He stared at Xia Ping, looking for a chance to save Yun Tiankong. However, he could not see any flaws in Xia Ping. Xia Ping's whole body was wrapped in a tyrannical energy. The ferocious power that had erupted in that instant had completely shocked him. If they rashly attacked, they would probably follow in the footsteps of the other Yin family underlings. Boom. At this moment, 4 figures descended from the sky. They were distributed in the 4 directions of the north, south, east, and west. They exuded a terrifying aura that enveloped the entire planet. The void seemed to have condensed into an earth-shattering Dharma idol. These 4 figures were all in the transcendence realm. They were all white-haired old men dressed in black. Their faces were somewhat similar to Yun Tiankong's. The Yun family's protectors, Qiushue, Su Mei, and Nangong Wu, were shocked. They immediately recognized that they were the Yun family's protectors. Legend has it that some large clans would secretly arrange protectors for their talented direct descendants, specifically to protect these talented descendants as they grew up smoothly. However, these protectors would not appear unless it was a life-and-death crisis. Otherwise, these talented descendants would definitely become lazy, and they would not be able to grow up. Chapter 1657. Young man, don't act rashly. An old man in a white robe said, "It was Yun Tiankong's fault just now. I apologize on his behalf, but killing him won't do you any good. It will only anger the Yun family. What good will it do you to provoke the Yun family? If Yun Tiankong dies, not only you but all your family members will die with him. Is it worth it to pay such a price?" He put on a kind look and tried to persuade Yun Tiankong. "If you dare to touch a hair on Yun Tiankong's head, I will not let you go. Your whole family will die." Another old man in a black robe said coldly with a murderous look. The 2 old men echoed each other. One had a white face, the other had a black face. The eyes of the other 2 Transcendence Realm experts flickered. They were watching Xia Ping's every move. They wanted to save Yun Tiankong immediately, but Xia Ping had no flaws. This was related to Yun Tiankong's life, so they didn't dare to let anything happen to him. If they didn't save him in time, Yun Tiankong would be crushed to death by this savage native. Qiushu and the others felt suffocated. The appearance of 4 Transcendence Realm Masters in this place was too much pressure on them. Even in Mingyue Pavilion, they were existences of the elder level. They were superior and untouchable. But now, 4 Transcendence Realm experts attacked at the same time and surrounded this place. This was a situation of certain death. Bang. But as soon as the 2 Transcendence Realm experts finished speaking, Yun Tiankong suddenly let out a miserable howl. His face was ferocious and there was unwillingness, fear, and regret in the depths of his eyes. However, before Yun Tiankong could say anything, his entire body exploded like a balloon bursting. His flesh was torn apart and instantly turned into a mass of minced meat. In this situation, even a god couldn't resurrect him. The surrounding people of the Yun family were stunned. Even if they were beaten to death, they would never have thought that Xia Ping would actually dare to do such a thing. He dared to crush Yun Tiankong to death in front of the 4 Transcendence Realm Masters. This could no longer be described as condescending. Even a deranged person wouldn't be able to do so. Lunatic, this native kid was definitely a super lunatic, the kind that couldn't be described with words. This bastard. Qiushu, Nangong Wu, and Su Mei couldn't help but slap their foreheads. They had already expected Xia Ping's character and knew that he would never willingly submit to others. But they didn't think that Yun Tiankong would be so cruel. Killing Yun Tiankong in front of his protector was no longer as simple as slapping his face, it was simply forming a blood feud that would not end until one of them was dead. Ah. Seeing this situation, the white-robed old man's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. He was so angry that he almost went mad. He screamed, "Little bastard, I told you to stop, but you didn't stop. You killed a direct descendant of the Yun family in front of me. Do you really want to die and have your entire family exterminated?" He couldn't believe his eyes at all. Under his persuasion, even an idiot would know how to weigh the pros and cons and know how to make a choice instead of fighting to the death. However, this brat didn't play by the rules and directly pinched Yun Tiankong to death, shedding all pretenses of cordiality on the spot and immediately opposing them with equal harshness. He didn't know what was wrong with this kid. Was he not afraid of death? Was he not afraid of implicating his family? He dared to use my family to threaten me. At that time he had already committed a crime punishable by death. Xiaoping said coldly, "Moreover, even if I really let Yun Tiankong go according to that guy's character, will your Yun family really let me go? If you turn against me on the spot and refuse to acknowledge your debt, what can I do to you?" In fact, this was the Yun family's elders' plan. They planned to deceive Xiaoping into releasing Yun Tiankong. Then they would immediately turn against him and kill him. Then they would go to the cloud world and kill this native's parents, clansmen and friends. They would kill the chicken to scare the monkey and show the Yun family's dignity. This wasn't because the Yun family was cruel and inhumane, but because it was the basic law of the universe. The weak were prey to the strong. If they let the enemy escape, it might become a disaster in the future. It might become one of the factors that led to the Yun family's decline and destruction. Therefore they believed in killing the enemy and killing the entire family. Nonsense, lowly native. Even if we turn against you and kill your entire family, so what? It doesn't matter how many of you lowly, filthy and stupid natives die. How can you be compared to the direct descendants of the Yun family? The black-robed old man roared at the top of his lungs, and he had a savage expression on his face. "Elders, there's no need to waste your breath on this lowly native. Attack immediately and eliminate him, then go to his hometown and annihilate his entire clan." They were angry, furious. At this moment, the 4 elders of the Yun family were completely furious. Yun Tiankong was a direct descendant of the Yun family and a genius that only appeared once in 1,000 years. In less than a few hundred years, he had reached the peak of the returning nature realm. In time, he would definitely become a Thunder Tribulation realm expert. He might even have a chance to become a sage. Therefore, such a genius of the Yun family was highly valued by the higher-ups. Yun Tiankong was trained at all costs. The higher-ups of the Yun family even sent 4 guardians to protect him day and night. This was to prevent the Yun family from being harmed by a villain. But now, a genius of the Yun family had been killed by a native. Furthermore, it had been done right in front of his protector. This was no longer just a simple humiliation. This was a declaration of war against the Yun family. Boom. The 4 elders of the Yun family did not even need to think. They immediately attacked. 4 terrifying beams of cold light shot toward Xiaoping. Along the way, everything began to collapse. The qi of heaven and earth within a radius of 10,000 miles tumbled and roared. It was filled with an earth-shattering destructive aura. "It's over." Qiushu, Nangong Wu and Su Mei's faces were pale. They could feel the terrifying power of a Transcendence Realm expert. In front of this aura they were like a small boat in a storm. They could be destroyed at any time. They looked worriedly at Xiaoping, who bore the brunt of the attack. "You are just 4 ants. Do you think that because you are a Transcendence Realm expert, you can do whatever you want and act arrogantly in front of me? You are seeking your own death." With a thump, Xiaoping suddenly trembled. He took out a Dharma treasure, the dragon trapping pillar. Boom. In an instant, with the dragon trapping pillar as the center, a huge golden energy shield appeared within a radius of 100,000 miles. It shrouded everything like an eggshell. Within the range of this domain, many restrictive formations appeared. A terrifying domain spread out in all directions, covering every living being. What? Chapter 1658. Impossible. My cultivation level is only at the golden core realm. You bastard. What did you do to us? What kind of technique is this? The 4 Transcendence Realm cultivators were shocked. They couldn't understand why this had happened. They were Transcendence Realm cultivators, but their cultivation levels had been sealed and they were reduced to the same level as this kid. For a moment they were panicking. Without the absolute suppression of their cultivation levels, how could they deal with this kid? How could they take revenge? The other subordinates of the Yun family were also shocked. If Yi Fuqian had a technique that could lower the elders' cultivation levels, they would be doomed today. None of them would be able to escape. He has such a technique. Qiushue, Su Mei and Nangong Wu's eyes lit up. No wonder Xia Ping was so fearless even when facing the Transcendence Realm cultivators. He had such an invincible technique. If these Transcendence Realm cultivators' cultivation levels were sealed and they could only use the strength of the Golden Core Realm, then there was nothing to be afraid of. Instead, they should be the ones afraid. What technique? Isn't the Yun family a big family in the universe? Isn't it fierce and powerful? You can kill entire families at any time? Why aren't you acting arrogant now? Xia Ping sneered. You were trying to show off just now. Do you really think you're invincible and unstoppable? Let me tell you the truth. All of you will die today. You will go to hell with Yun Tiankong. Because of what you've done, the Yun family will be exterminated. Everyone in the family will die. A terrifying murderous aura emanated from his body. He had no scruples. Martial path divine power. Lightning fist. Xia Ping instantly made his move, unleashing a thunderbolt killer move. His entire body was enveloped by a terrifying thunderbolt energy. One after another, thunder dragons appeared in the void, roaring. The endless lightning energy strengthened his body and condensed into thunder runes. When he punched, it was extremely terrifying. It was like a lightning spear piercing through the void. Wait, you can't kill me. You can't kill me. I'm the great elder of the Yun family. I have the support of a Thunder Tribulation Realm cultivator. I'm an important part of the Yun family. If you kill me, aren't you afraid of the Yun family's revenge? The white-robed elder screamed in horror. The dragon-trapping pillar sealed his cultivation, preventing him from using the power of the Transcendence Realm. Facing Xia Ping's killing move, he was terrified to the extreme and felt the aura of impending death. He roared again and again, hoping to stop Xia Ping. At this moment, he was no longer a high and mighty Transcendence Realm cultivator. Instead, he was a pitiful person who was afraid of death. In the face of death, he was scared like a quail. Dong. But before he could finish speaking, Xia Ping's fist pierced through his chest. No matter how the white-robed old man used his divine abilities, in front of this lightning spear, he was as weak as an idiot. With a kacha sound, his entire body exploded, turning into a lump of meat paste. He died on the spot. Oh my God. The surrounding Yun family subordinates were scared half to death. This was a Transcendence Realm mighty figure. Even in a sacred-level sect, he would be a terrifying existence at the level of an elder. He was second only to one person and above millions. But now he was actually killed by a single punch. He died in an incomparably miserable manner without any ability to resist. Little bastard, I'm going to kill you. Seeing his companion die, a black-robed elder was shocked and angry. He was extremely sad and indignant. He formed a seal with both hands, planning to use a supreme killing move. Even if he was at the same cultivation level as this kid, he wouldn't lose to anyone. Bang. But before he could do anything, Xia Ping rushed forward and punched again. The black-robed elder's chest was pierced on the spot. A bloody hole appeared and a large amount of blood flowed out. The terrifying power of lightning destroyed everywhere in his body, causing continuous explosions. No. I can't accept this. I'm an elder of the Yun family, a Transcendence Realm mighty figure. I can still live for countless years and have a long life. I can still do whatever I want in the Yun family and the universe. Whoever dares to provoke me, I'll destroy their entire family. But now I'm dead. I was killed by a Golden Core Junior. I can't accept this. The black-robed elder roared into the sky. His tone was filled with hatred and unwillingness. But in the next second, his entire body shattered into pieces. His soul collapsed and he died on the spot. Demon, this is a peerless demon. He's not human. Immediately send a signal to inform the Yun family's ancestor and the Shintian sect. Tell them to send experts here quickly to kill this demon. At the same time, immediately send people to the cloud world and destroy his entire family. Kill all those lowly natives. Avenge us. Avenge us. Another red-robed elder roared. He had attacked Xia Ping with his life on the line. In order to save his life, he told the others to retreat. He wanted to stall Xia Ping and fight for a chance of survival. As soon as he finished speaking, a pair of wings appeared on Xia Ping's back. Those were the wings of the Golden Crow of Hell. They shook the air and instantly moved above the red-robed elder. He was expressionless, but killing intent rose in his heart. He had to eliminate this kind of ruthless Transcendence Realm mighty figure. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble and his family would be implicated. Dong. A palm slammed down from the sky. The palm lines were like Tao patterns. They were densely packed and contained starlight. It was as if a star was falling. It was extremely terrifying. The red-robed elder didn't even have time to react. In the next second, the top of his head was shattered into pieces. His soul collapsed. But at this time, many of the Yun family's subordinates quickly spread the news and sent out a distress signal. They hoped that the Xintian sect or the Yun family's ancestor would come to help. However, even if they received the signal, they wouldn't be able to come in time. This place was too far away. By the time they arrived, it would be too late. Even so, they had to send out this news and let the Yun family take revenge for them. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. I'm an elder of the Yun family. I've always been the one who kills people and exterminates entire families. No one has ever dared to kill me. But today, I'm being chased by a Golden Core Junior like a stray dog. How is this possible? The remaining elder of the Yun family had collapsed. They were protectors, the kind that were invincible. Even if they encountered a mighty figure in the Thunder Tribulation realm, they would still have a chance to escape. But now they were being forced into such a desperate situation by a Golden Core Junior. Even if they were beaten to death, they wouldn't have thought that something like this could happen in the world. Especially when he saw the 3 elders of the same level as him being beaten up one by one. He was even more devastated. Whoosh. He quickly retreated and used his extreme speed to try to avoid the attack. His face was filled with fear. But it was useless. Xiaoping was just too fast. He was like a Kunpeng that had escaped into the void. With a light flap of his wings, he arrived in front of the elder in an instant. With a boom, just one punch, and his head exploded like a watermelon. Die. Chapter 1659. They're all dead. Seeing this scene, Nangong Wu, Qiu Shui, and Su Mei were all dumbstruck. Originally, when Yun Kongqian's 4 protectors appeared, they thought that they were dead meat. However, they had never imagined that Xiaoping would actually display such divine might. With a wave of his hand, he completely annihilated this group of people. Even their Dao protector was killed on the spot. Even though they knew that Xiaoping's current strength was extraordinary, they didn't expect it to be this tyrannical. He could even beat an elder to death. Even if he borrowed the power of a magic treasure, the treasure itself was a part of the cultivator's strength. Xiaoping, you killed Yin Tiankong and the others. Aren't you afraid of revenge? Qiushu was worried. They dared to threaten me with my family. They deserve to die. As for revenge, they haven't even seen me. How can they get revenge? Xiaoping said calmly. There were countless people in the universe who wanted to kill him. The Yun family was nothing. Oh no. At this moment, Nangong Wu's expression changed. I know why Yun Kongtian and the others suddenly appeared in Mingyue Court Star area. They came to Mingyue Court with the elders of Shantian sect to discuss with our elders about entering the heaven-accessing secret land. Now that they know about Yun Kongqian's death, they are furious and trying their best to arrest him. Not only the elder of the Black Heaven sect, but also the elder of Mingyue Court. We'd better run away quickly. Otherwise we'll be dead. She received a lot of news. The moment the disciples of the Yun family died, the distress signal was sent out. The elders of the mysterious Heaven sect and many other elders of the Yun family found out about this. They flew into a rage and their hearts were filled with rage. How can we escape? This is the territory of Mingyue Court. They came here in an instant. If the saints are alerted, we won't be able to escape, Su Mei said in a low voice. This kind of small matter won't alert the saints. Don't worry too much. Qiushu shook her head. For the saints, Yun Tiankong was just one of the geniuses. They had seen countless geniuses in their long life, and countless had fallen. They wouldn't be shaken by the death of a genius. They wouldn't come out of their closed-door training unless there was a crisis that could shake the foundation of the sect. Where is the Yun family's territory? Xiaoping suddenly asked. It's in the star field ruled by the Profound Heaven sect. It's on one of the planets, the Yun planet. This is public information, so it's easy to find. But why are you asking about this? Nangong Wu replied casually. It can't be. Could it be that you want to destroy the Yun family? Are you crazy? Qiushui and Su Mei's eyes widened. They immediately understood what Xiaoping was thinking. If you want to kill someone, kill their entire family. You have to be ruthless. If you don't remove the roots, they will grow again. Since they dare to threaten me, they should be prepared for an all-out war. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. Moreover, the Yun family is rich and powerful. If they discover the existence of the Cloud World, can you guarantee that they won't attack the Cloud World? This? Nangong Wu, Qiushue and Su Mei were all silent. To be honest, under the fury of the Yun family, they would definitely investigate the cause of Yun Tiankong's death in detail. Moreover, they would probably be investigated and might even be implicated. For a big family like that, there was no need for evidence. It was just to vent their anger. The other party probably wouldn't care about the destruction of a mere native land. But even so, even if they knew the threat of the Yun family, would the Yun family be so easy to destroy? Xiaoping, don't be impulsive. The Yun family isn't an ordinary family. They have a total of 13 Thunder Retribution Realm experts. They are all elders of the Profound Heaven sect. They can be considered a force under the protection of the Profound Heaven sect. Nangong Wu said what she knew. Even if some Thunder Retribution Realm experts go out to train and look for opportunities to pass the Heaven Retribution, there are at least 7 or 8 Thunder Retribution Realm experts on the Yun planet. There are countless other experts. If you want to go to the Yun planet, you're not looking for trouble, you're looking for death. She looked at Xiaoping seriously. The other party's force was no less than her mother's Wang family. To some extent, his force was even more powerful than the declining Wang family. Therefore, the Wang family wanted to unite with the Yun family through marriage. Let's go. Xiaoping didn't want to talk nonsense with Nangong Wu. His current strength was not something Nangong Wu could imagine. Then he quickly went to the Thunder Retribution Realm cave abode. After looting all the treasures inside, he brought Nangong Wu, Qiushue, and Su Mei to the stars. After all, if the 3 of them were to stay here, it would be a little troublesome if they encountered the elders of Mingyue Court and the Profound Heaven sect. They might be in danger. An hour after Xiaoping and the others left the planet, a huge spaceship broke through space and flew over. It instantly arrived at the place where Xiaoping and the Yun family had fought. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Cultivators with powerful auras walked out of the spaceship and stood in the air. They were all elders of Mingyue Court and the Profound Heaven sect. They were at least in the Transcendence realm. At this moment, their faces were extremely gloomy. Their powerful divine senses covered the entire planet. They searched up and down, trying to find the many clues left here. However, no matter how they searched, they couldn't find any clues. Damn it, the bandits have already escaped. We can't find any trace of them. An elder of the Profound Heaven sect had a very ugly expression. He was very unwilling. After receiving the SOS signal from the Yun family, they rushed over without stopping, but they didn't expect that they would still be too late. Even Yun Tiankong and the 4 guardians of the Yun family were killed. Who on earth did this? The elder of Mingyue Court frowned. He couldn't figure out the key point. According to the SOS signal, the reason is because of the 3 disciples of Mingyue Court. An elder of the Profound Heaven sect sneered and said, especially that Nangong Wu. She was clearly married to Yun Tiankong and was his fiancée. How could she come to this remote place to meet her lover? As for Yun Tiankong, when he saw this scene, his heart was filled with rage. He confronted the adulterer, but he didn't think that the adulterer would kill Yun Tiankong and even kill his 4 Dao protectors. This time, it's all the fault of Mingyue Court. You don't follow the rules of a woman. How did you teach your disciples? This was the information he received from the SOS signal. Of course, this was also embellished by the Yun family's subordinates. They pushed the blame to the side that benefited them. This is only your side of the story. Who knows what really happened? The elder of Mingyue Court suppressed his anger and said, if Nangong Wu, Qiushue, and Su Mei really did this, I won't forgive them easily. I will definitely give you an explanation. A cold light flashed in her eyes. That's good. Chapter 1660. The news of Yun Kongtian's death and the disappearance of Qiushu, Nangong Wu, and Su Mei quickly spread throughout Mingyue Court. Many disciples in Mingyue Court knew about it. Have you heard? Yun Kongtian, the direct disciple of Shintian sect, was killed. It's been a hot topic for a long time. It's said that Nangong Wu was on a date with her lover, but Yun Kongtian ran into her. I didn't expect the lover to be so angry and kill Yun Kongtian. Even his 4 guardians and many of his subordinates were killed. What a femme fatale. I knew that Nangong Wu was not a good person. Now it seems that I was right. Not only did she seduce her lover, but she also colluded with him and killed her fiancé. But I heard that Nangong Wu didn't agree to the marriage at all. It was the Wang family who forced her to do it. So what? She has the blood of the Wang family in her veins and has received their favor. Is it wrong for her to marry the Yun family? I can only say that she is an ungrateful wretch. I heard that Nangong Wu is not the only one involved in this matter. Su Mei and Qiushu are also involved. Maybe they also have an unspeakable relationship with the lover. No way. Could it be that the man has one foot in all three boats and accepted all three women? Haha, it's not a can't. It's inevitable. Otherwise, why would Su Mei and Qiushu go with the lover? Of course it's a threesome. Messy. The circle of nobles is too messy. I didn't expect that these three women from the indigenous continent would be so frivolous. It's really despicable. I've seen through these women's nature. They come from small places and are ambitious. They want to join a rich and powerful family and improve their status. There's nothing they can't do. Fortunately, they've run away now. Otherwise, if they continue to stay in Minuet court, who knows how much trouble they'll cause. Maybe they'll even bring disaster to Minuet court. They're just three vixens. It's best if they're killed by the Yun family. Otherwise, they'll continue to embarrass Minuet court. Many of the disciples of Minuet court were discussing among themselves. They were already very dissatisfied with the three new disciples, Nangongwu, Qiushu, and Su Mei. They thought that the three of them had stolen their limelight and large amounts of resources. Now that they heard that the three of them had actually joined forces with their lovers to kill Yun Tiankong and cause a huge disaster, all of them took joy in their misfortune and wished for nothing more than to add insult to injury. And among this group of people, the most worried were Nangong Wu's mother Wang Feng and father Nangong Hai. Xiao Feng, what do we do now? How can the Wang family bear the consequences of their daughter's actions? Nangong Hai frowned. How is it possible? Wang Feng sneered. If Xiao Wu appeared here right now, perhaps she would be captured by that group of old bastards of the Wang family, thrown to the Yun family, used to appease the Yun family's anger. Even now, many of the elders of Minuet court want to capture Xiao Wu and the others and punish them according to the rules of the court. Therefore, the three of them cannot return or they will be in big trouble. She was very familiar with the power of these families. For the sake of benefits they could abandon everything, so abandoning a younger generation of the family was nothing. Not to mention that Nangong Wu was actually not a member of the Wang family, she was only a niece. In this way they would have no psychological burden to abandon her. In that case we must inform Xiao Wu, we absolutely cannot let them return to Minuet court. Nangong Hai said in a low voice. Don't worry, I have already informed Xiao Wu and the others, let them temporarily leave Minuet court. Wang Feng sighed, actually, I already knew that according to Xiao Wu's character, sooner or later she would resist being forced to marry, and something would definitely happen, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon. In fact, she also wanted to stop this stupid marriage, but the problem was that this was the decision of many elders of the Wang family, she could not resist the thigh and finally compromised with the Wang family for the time being. Most importantly, in fact, the Yun family could also be counted as a noble family. Yun Tiankong was also a direct descendant, a favored son of heaven. No matter how you looked at it, he would be a good son-in-law. Unfortunately, Nangong Wu did not like it, so there was no other way. Forget it, according to Xiao Wu's current strength, even if she left Minuet court, it would not be a big problem. Moreover, she has someone by her side who can kill a Transcendence Realm Master, so there is even less need to worry about her safety. Nangong Hai said in a low voice. Hearing this, Wang Feng could only nod. Meanwhile, on the other side on the stars, Su Mei, Qiushu, and Nangong Wu also received the news that they were wanted by Minuet court and Shintian sect. After hearing the news, their faces turned green. Especially Nangong Wu, she was like a crazy kitten, staring fiercely at Xia Ping. Because she received an important message from her mother, telling her not to go back to Minuet court. Why are you looking at me? Even if I am very handsome, looking at me for such a long time will still cost you money. Xia Ping blinked his eyes. Handsome my ass. Nangong Wu spat at Xia Ping, very angry. It's all your fault because you bastard did things without looking at the consequences. Now we are all wanted criminals and we can't go back to Minuet court. Once we go back, we will definitely be arrested and locked up for hundreds of years. Maybe we don't even need to be locked up, we will be directly destroyed. She was half dead with anger. Before she met Xia Ping, she was still a pure and flawless disciple of Minuet court with a promising future, and there was still hope for her to become a disciple of a saint. Now, what disciple of a saint, what supreme treatment, all gone, now they were all wanted criminals, criminals hunted by Shintian sect and Minuet court, unable to go back even if they had a home. She was really down on her luck. Don't worry, when I kill the Yun family and destroy them, no one will dare to chase you. A murderous look appeared in Xia Ping's eyes. Killing the Yun family will only make things worse. Nangong Wu said angrily, The Yun family is one of the important forces of Shintian sect. If the Yun family is destroyed, then it will mean that Shintian sect will not rest until one of us is dead, and then there is no way for us to go back. Then there is nothing I can do. Why don't you travel back in time to 1 day ago? Xia Ping spread his hands indicating that there was nothing he could do. Nangong Wu looked at the rascal Xia Ping, who looked as if it had nothing to do with him and she wanted to punch him. Forget it, what's done is done. Since we are already on board, what else can we do? We can only look forward. Qiushu said helplessly, trying to dissuade Nangong Wu. Anyway, there is no point in staying in Mingyue Court. I have already learned what I need to learn, and I can completely survive in the universe. Now is not a good time to leave. Su Mei smiled slightly. Hearing this, Nangong Wu felt deeply helpless. Indeed, as Qiushu and Su Mei said, no matter how angry she was, it was useless. She had already boarded Xia Ping's pirate ship, and there was no turning back. We are almost at the Yun family planet, let's get to work. Chapter 1661. Yun Family Star, Yun Family's Ancestral Ground. Many elders were having a meeting, including family head Yun Cha. Even 7 or 8 Thunder Retribution Realm Supreme Elders attended this meeting. The atmosphere was solemn. I believe everyone knows that Yun Tiankong was killed by a villain. Even his 4 protectors died a violent death. This is a heavy blow that our Yun clan cannot bear. Yun Cha, the Yun family's patriarch, said. What villain is so bold that he dared to kill our Yun family's elders and descendants? Is he tired of living? A Yun family elder was furious. It is said that a bitch called Nangong Wu had a rendezvous with her lover, but Yun Tiankong saw through her. I didn't expect that bitch to fly into a rage and join forces with her lover to kill Yun Tiankong and the others to eliminate future troubles. At that time, the 4 guardians in the dark wanted to rescue them, but they were all killed by them. One of the elders told him what had happened. Damn Nangong Wu. Where did she come from? Immediately exterminate her entire clan. She even dared to kill people from the Yun clan. She must be tired of living. One of the supreme elders was instantly enraged, and he wanted to kill Nangong Wu's entire clan. He thought that it was because of some treasure or ambush by the Yun family's mortal enemy. He didn't expect it to be because of jealousy. Because of such a small matter, the Yun family's descendants and 4 Transcendence Realm elders were killed. It was ridiculous. No matter how many people died, it couldn't calm the anger in his heart. We can't. Nangong Wu is the niece of the Wang family of Moon Pavilion. It is said that she was born on a primitive planet. No one knows the specific location. An elder told the information about Nangong Wu. What? Many elders were shocked and immediately calmed down. With their strength, if they wanted to fight with the Wang family, both sides would suffer. It was impossible to destroy the Wang family. After all, although the Wang family's power had declined, it was still not inferior to the Yun family. The Supreme Elder said angrily, if we can't destroy the Wang family, we will destroy that primitive planet. Kill those natives and all the people close to her. We must make her pay a heavy price. His plan failed, so he thought of another plan. Supreme Elder, the problem is that apart from Nangong Wu's mother, Wang Fong, no one knows where that native planet is. Immediately interrogate Wang Fong, make her explain clearly and pay the price. It's very difficult to interrogate her. Recently, Wang Fong's cultivation has improved by leaps and bounds. She's already a Dharma plane cultivator. At the same time, she's also an elder of Mingyue Court and the Wang family. She has friends all over the world. Mingyue Court is filled with her life and death buddies. Unless Xiantian Gate and Mingyue Court go to war, it's impossible to interrogate her. All of the elders felt extremely helpless. Originally, they had relied on their authority and were successful in every endeavor, destroying whoever they wanted. However, now that they had encountered an existence of the same level as them, they were not afraid of their threats at all. All of their previous methods were useless. Hateful bitch. She is truly a femme fatale. I must find her. I will make her wish she was dead. I will make her suffer a fate worse than death as a sacrifice to Yun Tiankong. The Supreme Elder gnashed his teeth in anger. Don't worry, Grand Elder. I've already mobilized all of the Yun family's connections and put out a bounty for Nangong Wu and the others. Once there are any clues, they will definitely die. The head of the Yun family, Yun Cha, said coldly with a murderous aura. That's good. The Supreme Elder nodded. At that moment, the stars had already arrived near the Yun family's planet. Due to the star's outstanding concealment ability, it could escape into the void. No detection system could detect its existence. Therefore, even if the stars were close to the Yun family's planet, the Yun family would not know. This is the Yun family's planet? It does look extraordinary. Xiaoping stood up. Through the virtual projection he saw the huge planet outside. It was at least 1,000 times the size of planet Yanhuang. It could accommodate 1 trillion people. It was fine if it was just large. After all, there were many planets in the universe that were larger than this planet. It was not a big deal at all. The problem was that this planet had been continuously built and forged by the Yun family for hundreds of thousands of years. It had undergone earth-shattering changes. The entire planet seemed to have been forged like a magic treasure. Countless rare materials had been added to it, making the planet extremely sturdy. It was like a war fortress. Looking from afar, this planet was covered in tyrannical restriction arrays that were filled with endless killing intent. Even if a Thunder Tribulation Realm mighty figure approached, they would probably be killed by these restriction arrays. Furthermore, they had also set up many detection formations. If an enemy were to invade, they would be discovered immediately. Such a defense was practically impregnable. As expected of the Yun family's base camp, it was simply a tiger's den. Ordinary people would die if they barged in. See? This is the Yun family's planet. It's heavily guarded. After hundreds of thousands of years of forging by the Yun family, its defense is second only to the headquarters of a sacred-level sect. Not to mention there are many experts inside. There are even 7 or 8 Thunder Tribulation Realm mighty figures. Nangong Wu wanted to stop Xiaoping's ridiculous behavior. It's indeed a little troublesome. If I'm alone, I'll need to summon help. Xiaoping touched his chin and waved his hand. Swoosh. 2 cute Lolas appeared in front of Nangong Wu and the others. One was wearing a white dress, hugging a white pillow and sleeping soundly. She was even drooling. Xiaoping had pulled her out, but she didn't seem to notice anything. She was still sleeping soundly. The other was wearing a black dress. Her cheeks were bulging and stuffed with food. Her eyes were wide open and she seemed to be very angry. Xiaoping, why did you pull me out? Don't you know that I'm eating? Don't you know how rude it is to disturb a lady while she's eating? She was also holding 2 gigantic lamb legs in her hands. They were twice the size of her body and were roasted to a golden color. The surroundings were filled with an enchanting aroma. After saying that, she took another bite and slurped it noisily. Cut the crap, you freeloader. Xiaoping reached out and knocked her head. This time, I need you to help me destroy a family. They are my enemies and they want to steal my food. What? Someone dares to steal our food? Are they tired of living? Who is it? I'll go and destroy them immediately. Hearing this, Tan Menglu immediately exploded with killing intent. There was actually someone who wanted to steal food from the mouth of a Taotai. This was simply too daring. They wanted to steal food from the mouth of a tiger. They were tired of living. Xiaoping, you beast. At this time, Nangong Wu widened her beautiful eyes and stared at Xiaoping. I knew you were a beast in the past, but you still have a bottom line as a man. You only attack mature women, but now you don't even let off little Lolas. Where did you kidnap them from? This is too much. Chapter 1662. What Lolita? They are countless times older than you. They are old enough to be your ancestors. Xiaoping said lightly. What? Qiushu, Nangong Wu, and Su Mei immediately woke up. This is the universe, there are countless races, and they can't look at others with ordinary appearances. Sometimes the other party looks like a Lolita, but they don't know how long they have lived. Xiaoping, what do you mean? This is too much. What ancestor? I am still a minor girl in the Taotai clan. Tan Menglu glared at Xiaoping angrily. How dare he say that she is old? What man? No matter what race a woman is, she will be angry when others say that she is old. Xiaoping explained the origin of Tan Menglu and Little Dumbo to Qiushu and others. One is Taotai and the other is actually Gaia. My god, these are mythical creatures. Qiushu, Nangong Wu, and Su Mei all stared with their eyes wide open. Gaia and Taotai are basically legendary creatures in Yanhuang Star, just mythical beasts in their imagination. In fact, not only in Yanhuang Star, even looking at the entire universe, they are extremely rare creatures, and many people will not have the opportunity to see them even in their lifetime. Therefore, the shock of Qiushu and others can be imagined. They want to see through Tan Menglu and Little Dumbo and see what is the difference between them and humans. What are you looking at, humans? Believe it or not, I will eat you. Tan Menglu bared her teeth and made a fierce look. But this look is even cuter, making Qiushu and others excitedly touch her little head. Brother, it's so noisy. At this moment little Dumbo woke up. She reached out and rubbed her eyes, looking at Xia Ping blankly. Little Dumbo, do you see the planet in front? You will eat it later. Xia Ping pointed to the yin star in front. Eat? What do you want to eat? I want it too. Hearing that she wants to eat, Tan Menglu suddenly became very excited. She is very interested in this matter. That planet has a defense, it is very hard. Little Dumbo glanced at the yin star and said. She saw that this planet is not simple. It is completely different from ordinary planets. The power of the restriction array is everywhere like a magic weapon. She wants to eat this planet in an instant, which is thousands of times more difficult than swallowing other planets. It's fine. Let's destroy the planet's restriction array before eating. Xia Ping suggested that as long as the planet's restrictive formation was destroyed, the planet would be devoured by Dumbo in an instant, just like any other planet. All right. Dumbo nodded. Menglu, go eat this planet's restrictive formations and destroy them all. Xia Ping knew that Tan Menglu's devouring power was extremely terrifying. She could even devour restrictive arrays and completely corrode them. There were very few things in this world that could resist Tao Tai's devouring power, at least not the Yin Clan star. If you want me to help, that's fine, but you have to treat me to 10 meals. No, at least 20 meals. Tan Menglu rolled her eyes and took the opportunity to make her request. Is that so? Do you want me to stop your meals and let you starve for a few days so that you can reflect on yourself? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Master, please let me help. Upon hearing that, Tan Menglu shrank back immediately and looked at Xia Ping pitifully. It was not easy for her to live a life where she could just eat. She did not want to go back to the days where she had to starve and fill her stomach. She lost her Tao Tai's backbone in an instant and gave in right away. Not bad. You're worth teaching. Xia Ping was very satisfied and patted her little head. Then he looked at the Yun Clan star in front of him and said, All right, let's go and destroy this planet. Swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, the infinite star charged into the Yun Clan planet instantly. Like a meteorite, it crashed into the core of the Yun Clan planet, which was the Yun Clan's headquarters and also the core of the planet's restriction array formation. As long as the core was completely destroyed, the entire planet's restrictive formations would collapse. Boom. The stars were too fast. Even though they did not hide their tracks when they entered the Yun Clan star, the Yun Clan star's detection formation could not react at all. It fiercely crashed into the Yun Clan's headquarters and instantly created a deep pit with a diameter of more than 10 kilometers. The surrounding buildings were destroyed by the terrifying shock wave. At the same time, there was a magnitude 7 or 8 earthquake, causing the entire Yun Clan's headquarters to tremble. Deep cracks appeared in the surroundings like the Great Rift Valley in East Africa. At this moment, many elders of the Yun Clan were in a meeting to discuss how to deal with Nangong Wu and the other bitches. They were also thinking about a series of plans to catch Yun Tiankong's murderer. However, they suddenly felt a strong tremor. The terrifying shock wave almost tore their meeting room apart. The buildings collapsed one after another. Instantly, many elders' expressions changed. Damn it, what's going on? Who's causing trouble? Don't they know we're in a meeting? How dare they disturb us? Do they want to be sent to the frontier to mine? A supreme elder immediately cursed. His body was filled with a terrifying aura. Originally, he was in a bad mood because of the death of Yun Tiankong and the 4 protectors. Now, someone actually dared to cause trouble on the Yun Clan star. Wasn't it like provoking the Tai Sui? Supreme Elder, it's not good. Enemy attack. It's an enemy attack. The guards of the Yun Clan outside immediately shouted in extreme fear. Clang 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 clang. At the same time, countless guards immediately rang the alarm system of the Yun family. Countless bells rang, shaking the heavens and the earth. The bell rang throughout the entire Yun family planet, letting everyone on the planet know that a mysterious enemy had invaded the Yun family planet. No matter what they were doing, they quickly woke up. Enemy attack? Who dares to invade our Yun Clan star? Are they tired of living? Many elders immediately burst into an uproar. They felt that it was unbelievable and unimaginable. Ever since the Yun Clan star became the headquarters of the Yun Clan, it had been continuously built for hundreds of thousands of years. Since then, no one had ever dared to cause trouble on the Yun Clan star. Now, an enemy actually dared to invade the headquarters of the Yun Clan star. Moreover, they did it openly and unscrupulously. This was simply unprecedented. Has our Yun family fallen to such a state? What Tom, Dick, and Harry dares to cause trouble for our Yun clan? The Supreme Elder shouted angrily. Find the intruder immediately. I want to skin him alive and exterminate his entire clan. Since he dares to cause trouble in our Yun clan star, I will make him regret it for the rest of his life. No one could imagine the rage of the Supreme Elder at this moment. If his rage could condense into a physical form, perhaps the entire Yun clan star would be burned to ashes by his rage. Yes, Supreme Elder. Chapter 1663. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. In an instant, a group of Yun family elders flew out of the conference room and towards the stars. It wasn't just the elders in the conference room. Even the elders in seclusion, guest chamberlains and outer sect elders all quickly came out and arrived at the Yun family's headquarters. Because a great enemy had invaded the Yun family planet, all of the Yun family's combat power had to be gathered. Many Yun family descendants were completely dumbfounded. This was an unprecedented event. Even during the annual family meeting, they had never seen so many experts gathered. Look, that's a Tribulation Realm expert. Our Yun family's 9 Grand Elders actually came out in full force. Behind the Grand Elder are the 36 Celestial Dipper Elders. All of them are Transcendence Realm experts. They've condensed the Heaven and Earth Dharma and are extremely powerful. When the 36 of them work together, they form the Celestial Dipper Formation. Its power is boundless. Oh my God, the 72 earthly fiends are here too. They're at least at the peak of the returning truth realm. They've really sent all their elites this time. Most of the Yun family's experts are here. When such experts gather together, they can simply kill anyone who stands in their way. If a god stands in their way, they can kill a god. Only saints can stand in their way. Who knows how many forces and powerful experts have died in their hands? So many Yun family elders have come. Is the invader that scary? It's not scary, it's anger. Someone invaded the Yun family planet without a sound, reached the planet, and destroyed an area before we found out. How humiliating is that? You should know that this is the first invasion of the Yun family planet in hundreds of thousands of years. It's unprecedented. You can imagine how furious the Grand Elders are right now. I'm afraid they even have the intention to kill that intruder. Looks like the invader is dead for sure. Doesn't he know that this is a dangerous place? Even a Tribulation Realm expert will die if he dares to invade. That's right. We'll see the invaders' corpses soon. We'll use their blood to establish our Yun family's prestige. Not everyone can behave atrociously in front of us. Many Yun family descendants discussed. They were excited to see so many Yun family elders appear. They felt that dealing with the invader this time would be a piece of cake. Soon the group of elders arrived in front of the stars. At that moment, Xiaoping, Tanminglu, and Dumbo walked out of the spaceship. As for Qiushu, Sumei, and Nangongwu, they stayed in the stars. After all, they were not strong enough to participate in the battle. The multitude star's appearance was also disguised. Even if someone saw it, they would not have to worry about discovering its true identity. 3 brats. Many of the Yun family's elders were shocked. They thought that someone was invading the Yun family's planet, but they didn't expect it to be these 3 kids. However, they also knew that there were countless people in the universe, and they couldn't be judged by their appearance. Who are you? Why did you invade my Yun family's planet? Yun family head Yun Cha suppressed the anger in his heart. The other party must have some mysterious power to be able to invade the Yun family planet without them noticing. He still wanted to know the other party's goal before making a decision. My name is Matedo. Xiaoping casually said a pseudonym. As for who I am, you should be very familiar with it. Not long ago, I killed Yun Tiankong and a few other protectors. He directly exposed his identity. What? It's you, you little bastard. The Supreme Elder was instantly furious and his eyes were spitting fire. You killed my family's Qilin Yun Tiankong and a few elders. You have committed a heinous crime, and you still dare to appear in front of us. Many of the elders were also shocked. They couldn't imagine this at all. It had only been a few hours since they received the news, and this kid actually came to the Yun family's planet in person. Moreover, this guy was too arrogant. He had a death feud with the Yun family, but he still dared to appear in front of them, and even personally came to the Yun family's headquarters. Did he think that the Yun family was a soft persimmon that could be pinched to death? Nangongwu, Sumei, and Qiushue, those 3 bitches, where are they? Immediately ask them to come out and kneel down to apologize, and become the Yun family's female slaves. Otherwise, this old man will immediately kill your family, and let your friends and relatives live a life worse than death. Think about it yourself. One of the Yun family's elders said fiercely, and his killing intent soared. He still wanted to catch Nangang Wu and the other culprits and kill them all in one fell swoop. He didn't want to kill this group of people. He wanted to capture them alive and torture them day and night. In this world there were things that were more terrifying than death. Letting these little animals die so easily would be letting them off easy. You dare to threaten my family? It seems like your Yun family is used to acting like a tyrant. You won't repent even in death. Today your Yun family's name will be erased from the universe. Xiaoping's eyes flashed with coldness, and his chest was filled with endless killing intent. What a joke. You want to erase our Yun family's name? You're dreaming. Since you're here, don't run away. Stay in the Yun family and be a slave. You're so stupid. There's a path to heaven but you don't want to run. There's no door to hell but you come to the Yun family's headquarters to die. How can we not help you? Capture this little animal and interrogate him. Find out where he came from and kill his family as a warning to others. The Yun family's elders sneered. They were as cruel as wolves and their killing intent was cold. Kill him. Immediately, 9 Thunder Retribution Realm Supreme Elders made their moves. They had no interest in fighting Xiaoping alone. Since he was an intruder, they would quickly eliminate him with the speed of lightning. Moreover, they knew the kid's combat strength. He had easily destroyed 4 Dharma characteristic Realm Grand Elders. He definitely had a powerful trump card, which was why he had barged into the Yun family planet so confidently. Therefore, they wanted to destroy the arrogant kid instantly, so that the little animal didn't even have a chance to use his trump card. Immediately, the 9 Thunder Tribulation Realm mighty figures took action. Their power was boundlessly terrifying, and their moves were ever-changing. Their martial Dao mystical powers seemed to have formed a domain, crushing an area. It was as if every inch of air within a radius of hundreds of thousands of kilometers was being pulverized. Ordinary Golden Core Realm cultivators would probably be blasted into powder in an instant, with not even their bones left. Primordial Heavenly Dragon Talismans. Xiaoping already knew that the Yun family's elders would destroy him with lightning speed. However, he was already prepared. He instantly threw out 27 Primordial Heavenly Dragon Talismans. These Primordial Heavenly Dragon Talismans were already filled with the Dragon Crystal's energy. Their might was several times stronger than before. They emitted a scarlet glow, and there was a faint roar of a Primordial Heavenly Dragon. Rumble. Chapter 1665. Oh no, Xiaoping, hide. Seeing this, Nangang Wu, Qiushue and Su Mei exclaimed. They wanted to tell Xiaoping to hide as the thousands of swords could blow up a planet. A golden elixir realm cultivator, no matter how monstrous he was, couldn't possibly survive. You want to hide? How can you hide? Just wait for your death. The Yun family elders sneered. They looked at Xiaoping as if they were looking at a dead man. They were confident of their victory. Because this planet was the Yun family's territory, it was built like an iron bucket. There were restrictive matrices all around. No matter how the kid dodged, he couldn't escape from this range. So what if he managed to dodge this attack? Once more, twice, thrice. How long could that brat hide? Sooner or later he would be killed. Moreover, these swords could lock onto aura and break space, making it impossible for the kid to escape. Swoosh. At this moment, Dumbo, who was standing at the side, suddenly jumped up and blocked above Xiaoping. She didn't seem to move, but she just stood in midair. In the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of silver-white sword gleams blasted down like mercury spilling onto the ground, turning the planet into a silver-white world. Bang bang bang. However, when the silver-white sword chi hit Dumbo, it was useless. It was like tofu hitting a steel wall. No matter how many there were, they couldn't break through the defense. On Dumbo's small body, a layer of white energy shield appeared. This was the divine power unique to the Gaia clan, Space Barrier. It was covered with densely packed space runes. Although it was just a thin layer, it was like a world barrier. Ordinary power couldn't break it at all. No matter how the swords attacked, they were easily blocked. Xiaoping stood in the same place, unharmed. He didn't even move a step. He sneered. Dumbo was Gaia. His original body was a star. He was huge and had all kinds of divine power of the Gaia clan. The defense of his body was comparable to a divine weapon. If this sky sword earth-killing formation wanted to hurt Dumbo, it would be a fool's dream. It could be said that as long as little Dumbo was here, no matter how the formation attacked him, he would be safe and sound. How is this possible? The black-robed Supreme Elder and the others were shocked. Their eyes almost popped out. They couldn't believe their eyes. The Yun family had spent hundreds of thousands of years and countless precious resources to build the Sky Sword Earth Termination Formation. Its power was enough to kill all Thunder Retribution Realm experts. It was like a heaven's tribulation. But now it couldn't even kill a little girl and was easily blocked. How could they accept such a ridiculous thing? What is the background of that little lowly? Why is she able to withstand the power of the Heavenly Sword and Earthly Fiend formation? I can sense that the little lowly doesn't have the aura of a human. I wonder what race she is. She's not human. Could she be a magical treasure, a body condensed from an artifact spirit? No matter what she is, I don't believe that the great formation of Heavenly Sword and Earthly Malice cannot kill her. Unless she is a saint, she will die without a corpse left. Dumbo she. Ping 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 said. I can ping. Tian. Ping, dumb, I ping, yes, activate the formation and kill this little bastard. Many of the Yun family's elders were enraged, and their killing intent soared. They planned to activate the Heavenly Sword Earthly Fiend formation once again and bombard it continuously to kill this strange lowly. Many elders formed hand seals and poured their spiritual power into the formation, wanting to activate it again. But right at this moment, a huge formation in the sky seemed to be flickering unstably, appearing and disappearing from time to time. One after another, the runes of the formation and the energy channels of the formation seemed to have been cut off, as though they were about to collapse. What's going on? What's going on? Is someone messing with us? Why don't you activate the formation? The black-robed Supreme Elder was furious. How could someone screw up at such a crucial moment? If he found out that someone was unreliable at such a crucial moment, he would punish them and put them in jail. Something's wrong, Supreme Elder. There's a problem with the foundation of our formation. Someone is crazily destroying it. A Yun family guard shouted. He was sweating profusely and quickly warned. Who is it? Which bastard wants to destroy our Yun family's formation? Immediately, many of the great elders became anxious. If the core formation of the Yun clan's planet collapsed, the entire planet would probably explode. Who knew how many people would die? Something's wrong. There's a boundary around the formation. Even a Thunder Retribution Realm cultivator would have to spend a day and a night to destroy it. Who can get close? Is this a joke? Asked an elder in confusion. It's a little girl. That bastard is too cruel. She's the kind that eats everything. She even eats the boundary. We can't stop her at all. The guard was sweating profusely, but there was nothing he could do. What? Many elders immediately probed with their divine senses and found that there was a plaza in the Yun family's headquarters. It was the center of the Yun family planet's formation. At this moment, there was a huge pit in the plaza. It seemed that someone had dug it with their bare hands. Large amounts of soil were thrown everywhere and piled up into small hills. He saw a little girl devouring the earth, rocks, and spirit stones in a frenzy. It didn't take long for her to reach the core of the Yun clan's planet. There was a huge formation base at the core. It covered an area of hundreds of kilometers. It was like an altar and was covered with 10,000-year-old jade stones as the formation's energy. There was also a huge boundary around the core. It was like an energy shield. It was airtight and as thick as a city wall. No one without the formation key could pass through. Even a Thunder Retribution Realm cultivator would need a day and a night to break through the boundary. However, this little lowly was extremely savage. She didn't do anything else and just ate it directly. She gulped it down. The originally incomparably hard spirit formation was like chocolate being bitten off by her, creating huge holes. In a short while, the spirit formation was bitten through by her and she directly entered the foundation of the formation. That's impossible. This barrier can block Thunder Tribulation Realm experts. How could she bite through it and eat it like chocolate? Many elders couldn't believe their eyes. That's impossible. Tata. Oh my god, this is a Tao Tai. A great elder recognized Tan Minglu's true identity. Fuck, which immoral guy let the Tao Tai in? Is he trying to destroy our Yun family? Many elders' faces turned green. Of course, they had heard of the Tao Tai's reputation. Not a single corner was left, not even a blade of grass was left, and the feathers of wild geese were plucked. Stop. That's the foundation of our Yun family planet's formation. You can't eat it. You can't eat it. Chapter 1666. Many of the Yun family elders were also extremely anxious, their hearts burning with anxiety. This array base was too important. It concerned the operation of the entire Yun family planet. Once it was destroyed, the consequences would be unthinkable. Moreover, they had spent a lot of effort and resources on this array base. They added mithril, purple gold, 10 millennia cold steel, earth essence stone, 9 heavens meteorite iron, 5 chi true steel, level 8 sacred wood, and many other precious materials. All of these materials were extremely precious. Some of them could not be bought even with money. The Yun family had collected them for a long time before they finally obtained them. They knew the Taoye's personality very well. There was nothing they could not eat. Without a doubt, this array base had become the Taoye's. With a smacking sound before they could say anything, Tan Menglu cried out excitedly. She immediately pounced on the array base and bit it as her dinner for the day. Delicious. This is really delicious. Tan Menglu was very excited. Although she did not have to worry about food and drink in the space of Xiaoping's pearl of mountain and river, after eating for a long time, she would occasionally want to eat something else. This array base happened to be made from a large number of precious materials. Among them, there were many materials that could promote the Taoye's evolution. This made her very excited. It was as if she had entered some great treasure. Therefore, even when she heard someone shouting, she did not care at all. With a few munching sounds, she ate like a whale. In a few breaths, she had eaten a small portion of the array base. Ah! That damn Taotai actually ate it. I'm going to get rid of her. I'm definitely going to get rid of her. Seeing that a small portion of the formation's foundation was gone, the black-gowned Supreme Elder was infuriated. It was just a single mouthful and he didn't even know how much he had eaten. He wasn't eating ingredients, he was eating the flesh of the Yun family, drinking the blood of the Yun family. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. All the Yun family elders were furious. They rushed underground as if they had gone mad, wanting to beat this damn Taotai to death. Wanna leave? Do you think it's that easy? Xiaoping's eyes flashed coldly. He used his spiritual power and immediately manipulated the ancient heavenly dragon talisman to attack the group of Yun family elders, preventing them from going to where Tan Menglu was. Brr. The primordial celestial dragons let out roars that shook the heavens and the earth. They turned into beams of terrifying scarlet energy that were like beams of death energy that pierced through everything. Dong dong dong. Immediately, dozens of Yun family elders were hit. Their bodies were pierced through and drenched in blood. Like dumplings, they fell from the sky and smashed into deep pits, dead. Without the help of the Heaven Sword Earth Wraith Array, no one could withstand the might of the primordial Sky Dragon Talisman. Of course, to power the primordial Heavenly Dragon Talisman at all times required an astonishing amount of energy from the Dragon Crystal. Every second expended was enough to make Xiaoping's heart ache. However, in order to completely eradicate the Yun family, it was worth it. Moreover, he had to finish this battle quickly. Little bastard, if you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Seeing so many elders of the Yun family killed by Xiaoping, a white-robed Grand Elder went crazy. He didn't care about anything else and rushed towards Xiaoping like a bolt of lightning. He was vicious and cunning. He knew that as long as he killed the culprit, Xiaoping, no one would be able to control the primordial heavenly dragon talisman, and the crisis would naturally be resolved. Martial divine power, instant kill. This was a spatial assassination divine power that allowed one to teleport in front of the enemy and deliver a fatal blow. This was also the white-robed Grand Elder's intrinsic divine power, and it was extremely powerful. How dare you attack, brother? Die. With a whoosh, before the white-robed Grand Elder could rush over, Dumbo instantly attacked. As though she had teleported, she appeared behind the white-robed Grand Elder and gently smacked the back of his head with her tiny hand. With a thud, the white-robed Grand Elder immediately fainted before he knew what was happening. His mind went blank and he was already unconscious. Following that, she grabbed with her hand and threw the white-robed Grand Elder into Gaia's space. Boom. Instantly, the white-robed Grand Elder's entire body was shattered, turning into a pile of minced meat. His blood essence, dermic powers, and essence soul rapidly fused into Gaia's space, becoming Gaia's nourishment. The energy of a lightning tribulation eminence's body was extremely astonishing. Even to Gaia it was a great supplement. Her aura was increasing at a visible speed. Even the Gaia space in her body was expanding rapidly. In a few breaths, it had expanded by a third. Even her body's density and weight were increasing rapidly. Bastard! Seeing a Grand Elder beaten to death by Dumbo, the remaining 8 lightning tribulation eminences were infuriated. They could not restrain their anger as killing intent surged in their chests. It was as though their bodies were about to ignite. Suppress. Xiaoping had no interest in waiting for the Grand Elders to be enraged. He immediately activated the primordial Sky Dragon Talisman's power and raised their strength to its peak. One primordial sky dragon after another appeared, forming the 27 lunar mansions array. It formed an unprecedented super-array formation that communicated with the outer realm's 28 lunar mansions. The array condensed into an array diagram. Endless starlight bloomed as it crushed down from midair like a millstone. Ah! The 8 Grand Elders screamed as they were instantly hit by the array diagram. Immediately, their bodies were obliterated by the stars one after another as they were enveloped by the chaotic airflow. They struggled frantically and burned their dermic powers in an attempt to break free from the array diagram's restraints. However, it was of no use in a short period of time. It was as though Sun Wukong was being suppressed by the Five-Finger Mountain. One primordial sky dragon after another was like an orderly chain that bound them tightly, rendering them unable to move. Die, scoundrel. In the blink of an eye, Dumbo moved as fast as lightning. She took advantage of the moment when the 8 Grand Elders were suppressed by the 27 lunar mansions array. She grabbed the 8 Grand Elders and imprisoned them in the Gaia space. Boom. Once they entered the Gaia space, it was Dumbo's territory. She could use the power of the world and the power of space. The tyrannical power instantly bombarded the Grand Elders. Bang, bang, bang. In just an instant, these lightning tribulation realm Grand Elders did not even know what had happened. They were all shocked to death and turned into a mist of blood. Their bodies exploded. And these essence blood, essence soul, bones, dantian, and other energies were rapidly absorbed by Dumbo. They became her nutrients and caused her strength to rise steadily. She gained a lot of benefits. After devouring the energy of these lightning tribulation eminences, little Dumbo's body seemed to have undergone a slight change. She actually grew 2 centimeters taller and obtained a huge growth. Chapter 1667. Impossible, the great elders are dead, all dead? Seeing this scene, many Yun family elders were completely stunned. For them, the great elders were like gods, existences like stabilizing the sea, the strongest experts apart from the saints. Such people were usually difficult to kill unless they courted death themselves or died under the heavenly tribulation. They were like old monsters, terrifying existences. But now, someone actually killed Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouses, and even killed 9 of them in an instant, causing Yun family to suffer heavy losses. No matter how much money they earned, they couldn't make up for it. Surrender. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the group of Yun family elders condescendingly. Now you are fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered, absolutely unable to resist. Now I can give you a choice: immediately kneel down and surrender, become my slaves and do hard work for me. Otherwise all of you will die and the entire Yun family will be exterminated. His tone was very calm, stating a fact. What? Hearing these words, many Yun family disciples were filled with grief and indignation. Not long ago their Yun family fell into such a situation. It had always been them killing people, exterminating entire families, and killing 9 generations at every turn. But now someone had come knocking on their door. 9 Thunder Tribulation Realm great elders had been killed in front of them. They were even forced to surrender and kneel as slaves. Thinking of this, they almost went crazy, extremely crazy. Shut up, Master Mateto. A Yun family elder shouted angrily. Even if all of our Yun family members die, we will not surrender to you, little bastard. If you want to exterminate our Yun family, you must pay a heavy price. Even if you die, I will make you break your teeth. He gritted his teeth, his hatred overflowing. That's right, at worst we will all perish together. Want to exterminate our Yun family? It's simply wishful thinking. Immediately activate Yun family's extermination formation, explode the planet and fight with him. If you want to kill us, you will also have to pay a heavy price. Think about it yourself. The Yun family disciples' eyes revealed ferocity, not surrendering at all. Some even planned to completely explode Yun family's planet, letting the power of the planet's explosion kill Master Mateto. Fine, your temperament is quite unyielding. I admire people like you the most for your unparalleled loyalty. Then go to hell. Xia Ping nodded, very admiring, but he let Dumbo attack immediately. Wait, stop. Some of the Yun family elders were dumbfounded. In truth, they were just pretending to be pretentious just now. They wanted to bargain with Xia Ping, hoping to win some bargaining chips to surrender. They didn't want to fight to the death. They had been in the universe for a long time and were old foxes. They knew that it was better to live than to die a good death. But how could they have imagined that this brat wouldn't play his cards according to common sense? Seeing their unyielding expressions, he actually agreed to their wishes and wanted all of them to die. This was too much. Didn't he know how to negotiate? Didn't he know that this was a negotiation technique? Who in the world would kill all of them just because of a disagreement? This was too illogical. Boom! In an instant, Dumbo cast the Gaia clan's mystique. With a light tap of his finger, a terrifying black hole appeared in the depths of the void, producing a terrifying devouring force. Then, a projection of the Gaia world instantly appeared, covering the entire planet and devouring it. Dong. Before the disciples of the Yun family could figure out what had happened, the entire Yun family planet collapsed and was instantly swallowed by Gaia. Gaia, which had evolved to such a level, was no longer as violent as it was in the southern universe. It needed to destroy the planet before it could be devoured. Instead, it directly projected the Gaia space and could instantly merge with it and devour it completely. This method of devouring was much safer and more efficient. Ah, damn Gaia, I haven't finished eating yet. Tan Menglu, who was originally devouring the foundation of the Matrix, was eating happily. She planned to devour everything, but she didn't expect the entire planet to collapse. This scared her so much that she immediately fled, lest she be implicated. Rumble, immediately, everything on the Yun family planet was integrated into Gaia planet. The mountains, the rivers, the buildings, all turned into the most basic matter and integrated into Gaia's body. The space of Gaia planet was also rapidly expanding, increasing the volume of the space equivalent to the Yun family planet. Because the entire Yun family planet was made of special materials that were extremely precious, it allowed Gaia planet to produce many precious minerals. It also greatly increased the density of Gaia planet, bringing endless benefits. As for the Yun family descendants, they also fell into Gaia planet and could no longer cause any trouble. Xia Ping was also not interested in killing these people. In short, if he left them on Gaia planet, they would also fight with others. After they died, their souls would also be absorbed by Gaia. They were just ant-like characters and were no longer worth his time. Oh my god, the Yun family planet was really destroyed. This is too brutal. Even the Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouses died like chickens. Unbelievable. In the Myriad Star, Nangong Wu, Qiushue, and Sumei also saw this scene. Due to the spacecraft's protection, they were not affected by the Yun family planet's destruction. However, this scene had a huge impact on them. A planet thousands of times larger than Yanhuang planet had collapsed just like that. It was completely devoured by Dumbo and taken for its own. At this moment, they truly understood what a mythical creature was. It ran amok in the universe and fed on planets. It was not something ordinary creatures could imagine. It was as if even the high and mighty Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouses were nothing. In front of mythical creatures, they were just slightly larger ants that could not jump around for long. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At that moment, Xia Ping, Dumbo, and Tan Menglu returned to the Myriad Star. However, Tan Menglu was fuming as she glared at Dumbo. Dumbo, you're too much. You actually ate the entire planet and didn't leave any for me. She was still thinking about the delicacies left behind. Hee hee. Dumbo looked at Tan Menglu in disdain as if saying that all you do is eat all day. What else can you do? Apart from eating, you can't help at all in the battle just now. What kind of look is that? What kind of look is that? If I hadn't turned the tide and destroyed that array formation, would you have defeated those baddies so easily? Can be said that the key to this battle was all on me. You actually said that I only know how to eat? Tan Menglu was going crazy. Phew. Dumbo yawned and lay on Xia Ping's body. She began to sleep, completely ignoring Tan Menglu. After a little exercise, she felt very sleepy again. Damn Gaia, stinky Gaia. Seeing Dumbo ignore her, Tan Menglu was even more furious. If she could beat her, she would definitely eat her up. Chapter 1668. At this moment, Mysterious Heaven Sect's headquarters. The news of Yun Star's destruction quickly spread to Mysterious Heaven Sect. All the elders in Mysterious Heaven Sect knew about it because this matter was too serious and too evil. It shook the entire Mysterious Heaven Sect. Who the hell did this? How could they destroy Yun Star? Mysterious Heaven Sect's sect master was very shocked. He knew the strength of Yun Star. After hundreds of thousands of years of forging by Yun family, this planet had long been forged into an iron bucket. Even if dozens of Thunder Retribution Realm masters wanted to invade, they would have to pay a heavy price. But now they were all destroyed. Not a single one escaped, and the entire planet disappeared without a trace. According to the Yun family's last distress signal, it seems that a mysterious person called Master Mutato destroyed them. An elder said in a deep voice, "Unfortunately, the information of this distress signal is too little. It seems that they were destroyed too quickly and didn't have time to send much information. The only thing we know now is that this Master Mateto is the culprit who killed Yun Tiankong." Are you kidding me? A few hours ago he killed Yun Tiankong and angered the Yun family. Now he directly attacked the Yun family and destroyed them. How is this possible? How could he be so cruel to this extent? Many elders were trembling and they kept quiet like cicadas in winter. Because Master Mateto was too ferocious. After killing the direct descendant of the Yun family, he didn't stop there. He even destroyed the Yun family and destroyed the Yun family's planet. It was said that there were at least 9 Thunder Retribution Realm Masters on the Yun Star and countless elders. It was equivalent to a mid-level sect, but it was useless. One could imagine how cruel this Master Mateto was, to the point where he could stop a child from crying. After all, the mysterious Heaven Sect's elders were at most in the Transcendence Realm. The stronger ones were only in the Thunder Retribution Realm, which was almost the same as the Yun family's great elders. If this Master Mateto could kill the Yun family's great elders, then it would not be difficult to kill them. Sect Master, we must kill this Master Mateto. The Yun family is an important force in our Black Heaven sect. For hundreds of thousands of years, they've been an important part of our sect. Now that the Yun family has been destroyed, how can we not take revenge? We must make that devil Master Mateto pay a heavy price. Massacre the people related to Master Mateto and exterminate his 9 generations. Such a shame can only be washed with blood. If we don't kill that devil Master Mateto, where will our profound Heaven sect's face go? Sect Master, give the order. Immediately kill Master Mateto and leave in full force. The people who spoke were the remnants of the Yun family. They did not stay on the Yun family planet but stayed at the headquarters of the mysterious Heaven sect to cultivate. Therefore they were lucky enough to escape from the hands of Master Mateto. But when they heard that the Yun family planet had been destroyed and that the entire Yun family had been wiped out, with only a few of them left, all of them went completely mad. Their hatred was monstrous. They simply wished they could immediately catch Master Mateto and peel off his skin and tendons. Sect Master, I think it's better to be cautious about this matter. The other party was able to destroy the Yun family planet in a short period of time. Even the Yun family didn't have time to send a message for help. His demonic might is matchless. A mysterious Heaven sect elder said, "If we rashly offend that mysterious character Master Mateto, it will definitely bring a great enemy to the mysterious Heaven sect. At that time, I'm afraid it will not be good." "Old man, what the fuck are you talking about?" The Yun family elder suddenly became anxious and shouted, "Raising the morale of others and destroying our own prestige, are you still a mysterious Heaven sect elder? The other party killed our mysterious Heaven sect's territory and wiped out our Yun family. Why are you still afraid of offending that Master Mateto? Why don't you eat shit?" He was so angry that he wanted to slap this elder to death. White Cloud Hall, this matter was originally provoked by your Yun family. Of course you have to wipe your own shit. Do you want our mysterious Heaven sect to wipe your ass for you? The mysterious Heaven sect elder sneered, "Killing that Master Mateto is easy to say. We don't even know who the other party is. To be able to destroy the Yun family planet, how terrifying must he be? Maybe he has the support of a saint. Without clearly investigating his background, you rashly made a move. Do you think our mysterious Heaven sect is not dying fast enough?" "Bullshit." The Yun family elder angrily shouted, "No matter what his background is, he has already killed his way to our door. If we don't retaliate, where will the face of our mysterious Heaven sect be? In the future, will anyone still be afraid of our mysterious Heaven sect? Don't take pleasure in our misfortune. Today it is my Yun family, tomorrow it might be your Qin family, Lu family and Lu family. If that devil Master Mateto comes to our door, I want to see how you all die. Right now this is no longer a matter of our Yun family, but a matter of the mysterious Heaven sect. This represents the face of the mysterious Heaven sect. Don't you understand the seriousness of this matter?" He knew that the enemy was too terrifying. To be able to destroy the Yun family planet, it was impossible for the remaining members of the Yun family to take revenge. Only by relying on the power of the mysterious Heaven sect would they have a chance. Enough, I have naturally considered this matter. The mysterious Heaven sect master said, "That devil Master Mateto dared to kill everyone in the Yun family. This is a heinous crime and cannot be forgiven. If we don't kill him, we won't be able to appease the anger of the people. Issue a warrant to arrest that Master Mateto." "Sect Master." Hearing this, the Yun family elder suddenly became anxious. What he wanted to do the most was to inform the saint of the mysterious heaven sect and have the saint come forward to arrest that devil Master Mutato. If it was just issuing a warrant, it would be useless. The other party was a terrifying existence that could destroy the Yun family planet. Which idiot would dare to chase after him? Wasn't that courting death? If it wasn't a saint, then it would be impossible to kill that devil Master Mutato. Okay, I know what you mean, but the saint cannot be easily moved. You go down and investigate the information about that Master Mutato. Once we know his origin, it won't be too late for us to make a decision. The mysterious heaven sect master set the tone. No disobedience was allowed. Even if he wanted revenge, he didn't dare to act rashly without understanding the details of that Master Mutato. Yes, sect master. The Yun family elder was very unwilling, but he had no other choice but to accept it. At the same time, the people of Minuet Pavilion also heard the news, and everyone was in an uproar. Are you kidding me? The Yun family was actually destroyed. Except for some of the Yun family's disciples who didn't stay in the Yun family planet, the others are almost all dead. After hearing the news, some of the disciples of Minuet Pavilion were completely stunned. They were dumbfounded. Previously they were still discussing this matter. They thought that the Yun family was furious and might send countless masters to deal with Nangong Wu and the others. But before it even started, the Yun family was destroyed. It was simply overwhelming. This matter was done by Nangong Wu's lover, Master Mutato. My mother, he snatched the fiancée of the Yun family's direct descendant, and now he even destroyed the entire family. Too cruel. It hasn't been long and the Yun family has been destroyed. This is ridiculous. How could that Master Mutato be so cruel? What is his origin? Could it be that he is the direct descendant of a saint family? Otherwise, how could he have the ability to destroy the Yun family? Chapter 1669. It seems that Nangong Wu and the others have climbed up the tree. A Minuet court disciple gnashed her teeth in jealousy. Many people immediately nodded. It was true. Now that the Yun family had been destroyed, who else could kill Nangong Wu and the others? Even the Black Heaven sect might not be able to do it unless it was a saint. The problem was that if a saint took action, it would be an earth-shattering event and it would not happen easily. Who knew if Master Mutato had a saint behind him? If he came from an ancient family, then he would not be afraid of the Black Heaven sect. Moreover, the universe was so big. Even without an ancient family backing them, they could just find a place to hide. Even if the Black Heaven sect went crazy, they would not be able to find Nangong Wu and the others. It's just 3 bitches. How can they climb up the tree? What kind of luck do they have? They are indeed foxes. Beautiful women bring disaster to countries and people. Who knows how many people have died because of them? It's a pity that a genius like Yun Tiankong met such a poisonous woman. The disciples of Minuet court were extremely jealous. The 3 of them were supposed to be stray dogs hiding all over the place and living a life of darkness. But now, with a shake of their bodies, they actually had a relationship that even Black Heaven sect's poison was wary of. How could they not be jealous? They simply wanted to replace them. It's better for you to be careful. If Nangong Wu and the others hear this, I'm afraid the families behind you will be in danger. Do you want to follow in the Yun family's footsteps? You should know that sometimes a loose tongue causes trouble. A senior sister from Minuet court said faintly. What? Many Minuet court disciples were shocked and immediately shut up. They remembered the tragedy of the Yun family. A big family that had been running amok for hundreds of thousands of years was destroyed just like that. How terrifying was that? Master Mutato's fierce name had completely entered their hearts. Their bodies trembled. At this time, Nangong Hai and Wang Fong also heard the news and were overjoyed. Wang Fong directly said to the elders of the Wang family, "What do you think about this news? It seems that my daughter Nangong Wu doesn't need to marry that Yin Tiankong anymore." Hearing this, many elders' faces turned green. This was clearly a slap in the face. The Yun family had been destroyed and everyone was dead. How could they marry him? Would they marry the heir? Even if they were willing, they had to find someone to marry first. Previously, there was an elder who said that he wanted to capture my daughter alive and hand her over to the Yun family to appease the anger of the Yun family. I wonder if any of you still have such thoughts? Do you still want to appease the Yun family's anger? Wang Fong asked with a smile. The faces of the group of Wang family elders were even more black like charcoal. This was slapping them to death, slapping their faces until they were swollen. Now Nangong Wu's lover, Master Matato, was so cruel. The majestic Yun family, a power not inferior to their Wang family with countless experts, was exterminated just like that. If this had not happened, they might have volunteered to capture Nangong Wu themselves. But as soon as this matter appeared, they didn't dare to make a move. Even the Yun family was completely annihilated by Master Mutato. If their Wang family also offended Master Mutato, perhaps they would also be doomed. Compared to the Yun family, their fate wouldn't be much better. Wang Fong, don't go too far. How can you be so ungrateful? A Wang family elder angrily said. Ungrateful? Who is the ungrateful traitor? In order to curry favor with the Yun family, he actually forced my daughter to marry him, and then immediately abandoned her. How can you be an elder like this? You can't even protect the descendants of the Wang family, and only know how to betray the country. What's the use of you elders? You're not even as good as a pile of trash. Wang Fong sneered. With a slap, a Wang family supreme elder stood up and angrily said, Wang Fong, I did all these things for the Wang family. I have a clear conscience. If the family wants me to sacrifice myself, I won't have any complaints. Oh, is that so? Do you want me to tell my son-in-law Master Matato about these words? Wang Fong sneered. When the time comes, he wants to exterminate the Wang family. Only if you die, the Wang family won't perish. Are you willing to sacrifice yourself for the Wang family? With a swish, many Wang family elders' faces turned pale. The other party could even easily destroy the Yun family. If the other party really came, their Wang family wouldn't be able to hold on for too long. Elder Wang, it's better not to joke about this kind of thing. The Wang family supreme elder's face was very stiff. Obviously, he was scared by Wang Fong's words. If Master Matato came to the Wang family with their strength, they wouldn't be able to stop him. This was a real threat. I'm joking now, but I don't know about the future. Wang Fong sneered again and again. Many Wang family elders lowered their heads and no longer dared to be arrogant. They were very sullen, but now that the other party was powerful, they couldn't do anything about it. This news was not only known by the mysterious Heaven sect in Mingyue court, but also quickly spread to every corner of the northern universe. This was because the Yun family was also a very famous family. The Yun family had dominated the northern universe for hundreds of thousands of years and made a name for itself. But now it was destroyed just like that. Even the Yun family's planet was destroyed, which shocked countless people. Devil, this Master Matato is definitely a peerless devil. This is too exaggerated. He stole someone else's fiancée and even destroyed the Yun family. He is too vicious. The Yun family can be considered to have lost 8 generations of bloodline. They probably didn't even know that they would die because of jealousy. The truth is unpredictable. Before, I heard that the Yun family planned to arrest that Wu Wudi to avenge Yun Tiankong. I didn't expect that in just a few hours the Yun family would be destroyed. This is the universe. We must be careful. Who would have thought that an inconspicuous person would be a peerless devil? He is a great character that we can't afford to offend. The dignified Yun family was destroyed just like that. It is really terrifying. Although there are still some descendants of the Yun family scattered all over the northern universe, the Yun family's planet has been destroyed. Most of their experts have died. Their future is bleak. That's right. These years, for the benefit of the Yun family, they have done a lot of inhumane things. They slaughtered people at every turn and even killed their entire family. Who knows how many people secretly want to kill them? That's right. Those enemies didn't appear before because the Yun family is rich and powerful. They have many experts. Now almost all of their experts are dead. They can no longer be arrogant. It is estimated that the remaining descendants of the Yun family will be chased by the enemies of the Yun family. I wonder what is the origin of that Master Matato? To be able to single-handedly kill his way into the Yun clan's planet, this kind of strength is truly frightening. It's really incomparably terrifying. He must be from a sacred sect or the heir of an ancient family. This name is a bit similar to Wu Wudi, who has recently become famous in the universe. I wonder if the two are related? Or maybe they are the same person. It's just a similar name. There are many people with similar names in the universe. It is impossible for them to be the same person. According to the intelligence, Wu Wudi is only in the Golden Core realm. It is impossible for him to destroy the Yun family. His strength can't be compared with Master Matato. That's true. It seems that I have filtered it. Many people in the northern universe talked about it. They completely remembered the name of Master Mutato, which represents evil. Chapter 1670. Beep beep. At this time, Xia Ping stayed on the stars and the system's voice sounded in his mind. Congratulations to the host for destroying the Yun family and becoming famous in the northern universe. You have obtained 20 hatred crystals. I hope the host can keep up the good work. Xia Ping was overjoyed. Sure enough, after destroying the Yun family, he had obtained a lot of hatred. After all, this was the hatred of the destruction of a family. God knows how many people hated him to the bone. With these 20 hatred crystals, he now had a total of 176 hatred crystals, which could be used to buy a lot of treasures. Moreover, this time he destroyed the Yun family and destroyed the Yun family's planet, and also seized a lot of treasures from the Yun family. There were countless elixirs and elixirs. After all, this was the accumulation of the Yun family for many years. Even if most of their resources were consumed, the remaining treasures were still amazing. Unfortunately, the minerals, magic treasures and other things on the Yun family's planet were all devoured by Dumbo and integrated into Gaia, so there was no way to get them. However, this time, Dumbo also obtained a huge evolution, and the benefits she obtained were more than devouring 20 planets before. All of a sudden, Dumbo's strength improved by leaps and bounds, and she had reached the peak of the Thunder Retribution state. It could be said that she was already showing signs of breaking through to the Sage Realm. Once she reached the Sage Realm, Dumbo would undergo earth-shaking changes and become even more unfathomable. Corinne, do you know how to make Dumbo evolve to the Sage Realm? Xiaoping asked. If Dumbo advanced to the Sage Realm, then he had nothing to be afraid of, and he could do whatever he wanted. There is no bottleneck for Gaia to advance to the Sage Realm. They are born to be sage. Corinne thought for a while and said in a deep voice, if you want her to quickly break through to the Sage Realm, you must devour and consume a lot of resources. The resources devoured are at least hundreds of millions of times more than what she has now. Otherwise, she can only cultivate honestly and quietly for hundreds of millions of years. Maybe she will have a chance to break through to the Sage Realm. This is Gaia's path of evolution, a steady stream. Hearing this, Xiaoping sighed. It seemed that there was no shortcut to let Dumbo advance to the Sage Realm in a short time. Although there was no bottleneck for Dumbo to advance to the Sage Realm, the problem was that the resources consumed were too terrifying. How was that possible? Could it be that he could destroy hundreds of millions of planets similar to the Yun planet? If he could do that, he would probably become the most vicious criminal in the universe. From a certain point of view, the evolution of Gaia planet was also very difficult, but it had a long lifespan so it could afford it. By the way, Xiaoping, now you have reached the peak of the Gold Core realm, right? Corinne suddenly asked. Indeed, I feel that I will break through to the returning nature realm in a few days' time. After the battle on the Yun clan star, I have benefited a lot. I can almost condense my Yuan Shen. Xiaoping said in a low voice. His eyes lit up. He believed that he would be able to step into the returning nature realm in a few days and condense his Yuan spirit. Xiaoping, I suggest that before you advance to the returning true realm, you should first enter the virtual universe and enter a middle-tier city. There are absolute treasures you can obtain there. If you advance to the returning true realm, I'm afraid you won't be able to enter an intermediate city anymore. You'll lose this opportunity for no reason. Corinne reminded. Oh, what kind of treasures can I obtain in an intermediate city? Xiaoping asked curiously. He knew that Corinne knew more information than him. There is a tower of trials in an intermediate city. This was left behind by the saints. Its purpose is to assist the human race's geniuses in their cultivation. As long as they have enough talent and strength, they can enter the Tower of Trials to temper themselves. Corinne said in a deep voice, the Tower of Trials has a total of 5 floors. Every time you pass a floor, you can get a reward from the saints. The higher the floor passed, the more precious the reward. However, the difficulty of each floor of the Tower of Trials is extremely high. More than 90% of the practitioners are unable to pass the first floor. To pass the second floor, only the true geniuses of the human race can pass the third floor. Needless to say, only peerless geniuses, monstrous geniuses of the human race can do it. If it is the 4th floor, monstrous talent alone is not enough. You need to practice top-notch techniques, have a lot of resources behind you, and have an extremely solid foundation. Only peerless monstrous geniuses can pass. As for the 5th floor of the Tower of Trials, it is even more difficult. Those who can pass are basically monstrous geniuses who have left their names in the annals of history. If they don't die, they are bound to become saints in the future. Looking at the countless years of history of the human race, there are not many. Speaking until here, he paused. But once you pass the 5th floor of the Tower of Trials, you can get the peerless treasures left behind by the saints. Sometimes, it is not impossible to get a sacred tool. There is such a good thing. Xia Ping's heart palpitated with excitement. This was indeed a big opportunity that he could not miss. But there is one thing you need to pay attention to. Everyone has only 3 chances to enter the Tower of Trials in their lifetime. If you don't have enough confidence, don't rashly go in. However, according to your current strength, even if you enter the Tower of Trials, it will not be a big problem. You have the opportunity to pass the 4th floor. Corinne said in a deep voice. Only then can I pass the 4th floor? Aren't you looking down on me a bit? Xia Ping said. I have already overestimated it as much as possible. No one knows what will happen inside the Tower of Trials. The content of the trial will change at every moment. Some peerless monstrous geniuses may fail miserably in the Tower of Trials. Corinne said in a bad mood. Well, it's a bit interesting. Then let's go in and take a look. What is the origin of the so-called Tower of Trials? Xia Ping immediately became very curious. No hurry, I have to warn you first. Corinne looked at Xia Ping and said, the middle-level city and the low-level city are completely different worlds. In the middle-level city, there is no so-called newcomer protection. Even in the town you can kill each other and no one will care. You can even project your magic treasures into the virtual world. Treasures are emerging one after another, and the virtual world has the characteristic of not dying. This makes the middle-level city a killing ground. Therefore, the middle-level city is countless times more dangerous than the low-level city. If you are too arrogant, I'm afraid you will immediately be killed by others. You won't be able to enter the virtual world for several months, and your soul will be damaged. Xia Ping suddenly understood. If the novice village is a place for children, then the low-level city is actually a place for the adults and rookies. There are also various kinds of protection to avoid being killed during the growth period, which would cause mental trauma. However, the middle-level city is different. The cultivators who can enter the middle-level city have at least advanced to the treasure refining realm. They have already become experts and have a mature temperament. They are no longer rookies. Therefore, if you enter the middle-level city, you will not receive the protection of the virtual universe. After all, a true expert grows up in the flames of war. A greenhouse can't nurture a saint. It is estimated that the virtual universe is the environment that the saints of the human race created for the proud sons of heaven of the human race to grow up. The purpose of everything is to increase the number of saints of the human race. If you don't become a saint, then there is no meaning to the human race. Whoosh. Chapter 1671. Beep. As soon as Xia Ping entered the virtual network, he heard a mechanical voice. Detected that the user has reached the Golden Core realm. You can enter a mid-level city in the virtual city. Which city do you want to enter? Suddenly, the names of many cities appeared in his mind. Although the number of mid-level cities was much less than that of low-level cities, there were still more than 1 million of them, which accommodated countless experts in the universe. Corinne, can I casually choose any middle-level city? Xia Ping asked. That's not the case, Corinne said in a deep voice. Although most of the towers of trials in mid-level cities are the same, some were created by sages, and the towers of trials were deliberately left behind by them. Therefore, the difficulty of these towers of trials is far higher than that of other mid-level cities. Of course, if you can pass them, the rewards you get are also incomparable to those of other towers of trials. There's such a thing? Which mid-level cities are more special? Xia Ping asked. Since he wanted to pass the Tower of Trials, of course he had to choose the Tower of Trials with the highest difficulty and the most rewards. Of course, ordinary cultivators didn't have such ambition. After all, they only had 3 chances to pass the Tower of Trials. If they failed, there would be no more. If they chose the Tower of Trials with the highest difficulty, they would get nothing. Therefore, most cultivators still knew their limits and wouldn't deliberately choose the Tower of Trials with the highest difficulty. Boom, the most famous mid-level cities are Panwu City, Sanshui City, Flame Dragon City, Xuanhe City, and so on. The towers of trials in these cities are also famous for their high difficulty. Who knows how many geniuses have failed in these cities? But once you pass these towers of trials, you will immediately get a huge reward, which will attract the attention of countless forces in the universe. Corinne said, and Panwu City's Tower of Trials is the most difficult among all the mid-level cities. Since ancient times, no one has been able to pass the 5th level of the Tower of Trials. At most, they can reach the 4th level. There's such a thing? Why is it so difficult? Xia Ping asked curiously. Because this Tower of Trials is said to contain the inheritance of Saint Panwu, Corinne said in a deep voice. Once you pass the Tower of Trials, it is equivalent to becoming Saint Panwu's disciple. Therefore, it is almost the most difficult. Geniuses of all races have failed in this Tower of Trials. Back in the ancient time, Saint Panwu was an extremely powerful saint. He was famous and he was immeasurably powerful. However, he died in a battle against deep abyss monsters, and everything he learned was lost. It was rumored that when he fought the abyss demons to the death, he had left all his martial arts in the virtual universe. If he died, his martial arts would not be lost. It would be obtained by a fated person and passed on to the next generation. Because of this, countless powerful cultivators had tried to challenge the Tower of Trials, hoping to inherit Saint Panwu's legacy. Sadly, none of them had succeeded. They were all stuck on the 4th floor. Interesting. Let's go to Panwu City and have a look. Xiaoping's heart palpitated. If the Tower of Trials contained the sage's inheritance, then he naturally had to obtain it. With a single thought, his body flickered and the stars shifted. His body instantly appeared in the middle of a huge and majestic city's teleportation formation, surrounded by densely packed figures. This is Panwu City? Xiaoping stood on the teleportation formation and looked around. He found that there were countless powerful cultivators here. Geniuses from all races had appeared. They were at least at the treasure refining stage and most were golden core cultivators. This Panwu City was extremely large. It was 10 million square kilometers, enough to accommodate 2 billion people. At the same time, he also felt that a mid-level city was different from a low-level city. It seemed to have become more real, blurring the boundary between illusion and reality. One could even absorb cosmic energy in a mid-level city to strengthen one's cultivation and body. In other words, cultivating in a mid-level city was almost the same as cultivating in the real world. The effects of cultivation could also be completely reflected in one's body. Unbelievable. Xiaoping could feel the greatness of this virtual network more and more. It didn't seem like a network but a virtual world. Apart from not dying, it wasn't much different from the real world. In fact, many cultivators who stayed on planets with harsh environments usually cultivated in the virtual world. This was faster than cultivating in the real world. It could be called a holy land for cultivation. It can even project magic treasures? Xiaoping was very curious. With a thought, he took out some of the top-grade spirit weapons he had obtained. Sabers, swords, halberds, bows and so on. They were all materialized and filled with the spiritual light of the magic treasures. It was as if they were in the real world. He held these magic treasures and felt that he could activate the power of the formation without any hindrance. It's real. This is really unbelievable. Xiaoping wanted to take out the reincarnation brush, the mountain river pearl and other magic treasures to try. However, this place was full of people. Once the reincarnation brush and other magic treasures appeared, it would cause too much of a commotion. Therefore he thought carefully and gave up for now. It wouldn't be too late to test it later. Let's go to the Tower of Trials first. Xiaoping decided to go to the Tower of Trials in Panwu City first. The location of the Tower of Trials was easy to find. It was in the center of Panwu City. A huge white tower stood there reaching into the clouds. It was densely covered with ancient and mysterious runes, emitting an aura that made people's hearts palpitate. At this moment, many cultivators had gathered around the Tower of Trials. Geniuses from different races had appeared. After all, this Tower of Trials was too famous. Since the beginning of time, no one had ever passed the 5th level. Therefore, many geniuses from different races wanted to challenge it. Once they passed, they would leave their name in history and become famous across the universe. One could imagine how many geniuses were excited by this fame. They wanted to pass the 5th level immediately. Unfortunately, most of the cultivators could not even pass the 1st level. Bang! Just then, the door to the 1st level of the White Tower opened. From inside, a silhouette was thrown out. He fell to the ground looking very disheveled and dirty. Ah, he failed again. That must be the Starlight Race's Heaven's favorite. I can't believe he couldn't even pass the 1st level. I heard that he was a genius who could pass the 3rd level of the Tower of Trials in other cities. I can't believe he couldn't even pass the 1st level in Panwu City. This is unbelievable. How can other cities be compared to Panwu City? This is a city personally built by a saint. There are countless secrets. The difficulty of the trial is not something other cities can imagine. That's true. What is the Starlight Race's Heaven's favorite? It's not like he is the most talented one. There were geniuses from the 7 Orifices race, the Ice Hell race, and the Dragon Bone race who came to challenge the Tower of Trials. I can't believe they only passed the 3rd level and couldn't pass the 4th. No way. Those geniuses all passed the 5th level of the Tower of Trials in other cities. I can't believe they couldn't even pass the 4th level in Panwu City. Everyone discussed. They had a new understanding of the difficulty of Panwu City's Tower of Trials. Chapter 1672. Hearing these words, although the surrounding people didn't look down on him and felt that failure was inevitable, that genius from the Starlight race was extremely embarrassed. Because earlier he was still bragging to his friend that he could pass the 2nd level. Who would have thought that he would be defeated on the 1st level? He left dejectedly and didn't dare to stay any longer. Many geniuses nearby also knew their own limits. After seeing the miserable state of that genius from the Starlight race, they decided to give up on the challenge. It was foolish to fight a battle that they had no chance of winning. Seems like no one dares to challenge today. At least they know their limits. After all, they only have 3 chances. It would be extremely foolish to waste them here. If they can't even pass the 1st level, I'm afraid they won't be able to obtain any treasures. That's true. They might be able to obtain some treasures by going to other towers. But coming to Panwu City is purely a waste of their chances. Anyone with some brains would know how to choose. Even some monstrous martial arts geniuses would only dare to go to other towers and pass the 5th level. Only then would they come to Panwu City to try their luck. No one would be foolish enough to waste their chances in a place like this. I think no one can pass this tower. This is a place set up by the sage to warn us that there's always someone better out there. We shouldn't be arrogant. Indeed. This might be a profound meaning left behind by the sage. Everyone, let's go. There's nothing interesting to watch today. Many people discussed and sighed. They all felt that this Panwu City's tower was too difficult. But after so many years they had already gotten used to it. Failure was the norm. If they succeeded, it would be a piece of world-shaking news that could shake the entire universe. Look, someone is planning to challenge it again. Suddenly, someone saw a young man approaching the White Tower. Who is that guy? He still dares to challenge after seeing the miserable state of that genius from the Starlight race? How gutsy. Or is he very confident? Someone asked curiously. I don't know. I've never seen this kid before. I should remember all the famous geniuses from different races. That's normal. The universe is too big. It's normal to have unknown geniuses. Everyone looked curiously at this young man approaching the White Tower. This person was none other than Xia Ping. Seeing that no one was entering the tower, he didn't need to queue up and went over alone. Beep. As he approached, a robotic voice came from the trial tower. May I know your name? Do you want to enter the Panwu trial tower? Do you need to use one trial opportunity? Wu Wudi confirmed entry. Xia Ping said his fake name. Alright, trial taker Wu Wudi. This is your first time entering the Tower of Trials. You comply with the rules and are allowed to enter. With a boom, the White Tower suddenly emitted a white light that enveloped Xia Ping's body. In the next second, Xia Ping disappeared and entered the White Trial Tower. But at that moment, the surrounding people were in an uproar. They had heard that the trial taker's name was Wu Wudi. This name was very familiar to them, especially to the living beings from the Western cosmos. After all, Wu Wudi had recently become a super wanted criminal in the Western cosmos, with a bounty of $10 billion universe dollars on his head. Countless radio and television stations were broadcasting news about Wu Wudi day and night, putting him on the wanted list. Almost everyone knew about him. No way, Wu Wudi. Could it be the legendary fugitive Wu Wudi? Someone exclaimed. It's very likely. If it's that super wanted criminal Wu Wudi from the Western cosmos, then it's normal for him to dare enter the Panwu City Trial Tower. After all, it's said that with his golden core body he once killed pure returning realm cultivators like killing chickens. He's extremely fierce. Not only did he kill people like flies in the Western cosmos, but he also destroyed 20 planets with life in the Southern cosmos. Trillions of people died or went missing. He's vicious and cruel. He's a super devil. The Wandu clan already sees him as an enemy. They can't wait to capture this kid and skin him alive. Speaking of his famous deeds, we have to start from the Eastern cosmos. In the beginning, he was just a scammer who only cheated money and women in the virtual network. I didn't expect him to become a super wanted criminal with a bounty of tens of billions. He disappeared for a few months. I thought he'd been captured long ago. I didn't expect him to still be free and unfettered. He even dared to appear in the virtual world. He's really bold. Quite a few people discussed spiritedly, talking about Xiaoping's achievements. Every single thing he did was world-shaking, and even a peerless demon was nothing more than this. Children stopped crying. Even the 10,000 Poison Clan, a demonic sect, hated him to the bone. One could imagine how cruel Wu Wuti was. Quick, inform the elders of our clan. Wu Wuti has appeared in Panwu City and is participating in the trial tower. Someone immediately went to inform the elders of the major clans in the Western Cosmos so that everyone knew Wu Wuti's whereabouts. What's the point of notifying him? This is the virtual network. He can't be killed at all. Moreover, intermediate cities can only accommodate golden core cultivators. Cultivators above the returning realm can't enter at all. That bastard Wu Wuti is probably relying on this to be so unscrupulous. He's not afraid of exposing his whereabouts at all. There were also people who gritted their teeth. What a joke. The elders have endless means. Even if they can't kill him, can't they trap him? Someone sneered. As long as we trap him in the virtual network and find a way to find his location in the real world, he won't be able to escape. It wasn't easy for him to appear again. If we miss this opportunity, who knows how long we'll have to wait. We have to capture him as soon as possible and eliminate him. Yes. Many living beings of the Western Cosmos immediately took action. They quickly used their communicators to inform the elders of the major clans of the Western Cosmos to mobilize their troops and gather in Panwu City. Good kid, Wu Wuti has finally appeared. This time, you won't be able to escape even if you grow wings. There was a 10,000 Poison Clan disciple in the crowd. He was ecstatic. Reporting news of Wu Wuti would mean receiving a huge reward from the sect. He could not wait and immediately informed the sect elders. Looks like Wu Wuti is unlucky. Not necessarily. That kid is said to be invincible in the Golden Core realm. He can even kill a returning realm cultivator. How can he be so easy to deal with? Haven't you heard of the saying that ants can kill an elephant? What a fool. If one can't kill him, then 10, 100, 1,000, 100,000 or 1,000,000 of them can kill him. That's right. Wu Wuti is a super wanted criminal. There are countless people who want to kill him. If they gang up on him, no matter how powerful that kid is, he won't be able to escape. There's going to be a good show later. Serves him right. This is the fate of a peerless demon. Many people were gloating. They planned to watch a good show. They also informed many friends and family to come. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.